fix my. Ah, shit. Sorry, guys. Kind of fix my. You can see me alright. Yo, boys. What is up? Well, a lot of crazy things have happened. War's back on the menu. Trump bombs are on again. He's supposed to address the nation. Oh, and Thursday, guess some of the 2020 election being stolen. So we were acted on Thursday. Lindsey died yesterday at 71. Rokan detained in Israel on Saturday. He was on Sun Street yesterday. He was also on Road Khanna. So we're pretty reactive on Road Khanna. So let's get into the clips. We have a lot to talk about today. Also, we're going to try to look at hopefully wreck some of our game and stuff. But we're going to get straight into it, boys. No fucking around. We have a lot to talk about. We have a very busy stream. So we're going to get straight into it, boys. Trump talked about Rowan, so we're going to get to let's go to the Trump clips first. This is game talking about Rowan, so let's get into it, boys.
They made a deal, they broke it, probably 10 times. And they killed a lot of people. They killed our people. But the protesters, what they've done to the protesters, 52,000. Have you ever seen any of the burial lots where they're burying the protesters? They killed 52,000 protesters. And on my watch, they can't do any of that. So we have them in a position that they don't have any military. There's not a thing they can do about it. All they have is fake news, because they have the fake news, would rather see us lose the war than win the war, which is really treasonous in a certain way. So we're doing another very major attack tonight. They want to make a deal. They came back. We made a deal 2 days ago, and they want to make a deal. They've been negotiating for 47 years, but nobody's ever hit them militarily. We're hitting them very hard. They made a deal. They broke it, probably 10 times. And they killed a lot of people. They killed our people. But the protesters, what they've done to the protesters, 52,000. Have you ever seen any of the burial lots where they're burying the protesters?
I don't think the media really wants us to lose the war. I think it's got a little extreme for him to say that. I think they just have questions like I do. Has your military been compromised? Yes, sure. It has been compromised. We have killed like a lot of the military leadership. We killed some of the generals. It looked like we killed one of their generals in the RGC on Saturday night. I think it was like yesterday or Saturday night, stuff like that. We killed like these people in the Navy, but their military's like completely lost, not completely decimated because they have been able to attack some vessels going to the Strait. They attacked Jordan. They attacked Qatar. They attacked Saudi Arabia. I know we launched a sea level drone into the Straits, and also Trump put the naval blockade back up. He's charging 20% tolls. I don't really agree with that. I don't know how that's going to go. Hopefully on Thursday explains it. So any country that passes oil for the Straits is going to have to pay 20% toll. I don't fully agree with that because we contemplate that wrong. We're going to do that when we're trying to charge $2 million for toll if any naval ship flew through. So I don't fully agree with that. I guess. But then we see that Trump's pissed off because he was trying to give peace a chance because he knew that the oil markets were on the verge of collapsing. His boom rates have gone down since the war started because it hasn't gone full to plan like these policies. The global economy was on the brink of collapsing. So he was trying to give peace a chance. They didn't abide by the agreement. Obviously, Israel kept attacking Lebanon. That pissed off the Iranians. I think they were just using this as bluff to Trump so they could restock their military capabilities, their missiles and all that stuff. And also, they know that if you keep the Strait closed, it's going to hurt Trump's improvements even more. It's going to basically hold the global economy, the oil market's mostly just man. Because everyone knows that based all the oil, um, like 20% of the oil supply comes from the strait, and the world depends on it. They know that hurts the. Like anybody knows that if oil prices go back up and the global economy's hurt again, they're just gonna blame the U.S. Like Trump started the war, he's causing all this. So they're basically just holding him hostage, basically. I just really wish they would go into the war, but sadly we're in there. So it's simply not God's plan. Like he where they kept saying, oh, it's been 2 weeks, and then it switched to 4 weeks. So it looks like it might be another fucking endless order sadly I predicted that was gonna happen. So I'll stop yapping, look at our clips.
Iranian drones in Cuba, there are concerns about that. Where does the relationship with the U.S. stand there? Is military intervention still on the table there?
Well, if they do have that, and they might very well have that, we'll take care of it. Mark is just in the other room. And if they do have that, we'll take care of it in short order. We're not going to have a problem. We're not going to allow that to happen. So it could be that they're storing some. We're looking into it now. It could be so, and it maybe isn't. But we'll...
I'll go look at if there's Iranian drones in Cuba. If that's the case, he's getting is he going to do attacks in Cuba? If there's Iranian drones or not, or he's going to try to intercept rockets going to Cuba. So I'm very curious if he's going to do that or not. It's probably pissing Trump off because I guarantee you, because he probably wanted to end the Iranian wars real quick, so he could just gone into Cuba. Because we all know the missions can go to Cuba. That's gonna happen sometime. Will it be this year? I don't know. Will it be next year? Who knows? Will it be in January of this year with the Venezuela thing? I have no idea. So I don't know. That's nice. I have no idea what this one is. I'm not gonna look at all the clips. If you're not super important, I'm really interested. I'm only interested in the clips he was dancing up the Iran stuff. What is this? Is this under good? Oh, this is. Oh, it's called monuments. I don't give a fuck all that.
Hitting them very hard. And we had a deal yesterday or the day before yesterday was all done. And then they broke up that deal immediately because they found out there was something in the deal they didn't like. And they're wired differently, and we're not going to put up with it. We are just going forward. We're attacking them tonight. And we're taking out all of their capability for anything having to do with the Strait, with the Hormuz Strait. And I think in the end, we will end up discontrolling the whole thing. And what they're doing is being very foolish, very stupid, and they've treated people horribly. They've killed 52,000 protesters so far that we can determine. It might be more than that, but 52,000 protesters have been killed. And it's really a terrible situation. But we'll have it under control very quickly.
We'll go with the other sheets on that. Series like some old Lindsey Graham, subjects for every city. To know Lindsey, what's to know, sincerely, well know Lindsey over the years had fights with the base, had fights with conservatives. The fact that he came to the that he came to be one of the most important heads of the Trump and the Trumpism in American made has been greater testament to his character because he showed down so many people. As I say in my post, Lindsey believed to his core to the wisdom of virtue and judgment of the people, and he was open to learn, embrace new thoughts and new ideas and other things in the party. We're heartbroken that Lindsey's gone. I wish more people had the fuck was there? 2 tags, man. Had a chance to get to know him behind the scenes. Now, who it really was behind the scenes stuff. mean, force of nature, force of life. We're going to talk about Lindsey Graham in a minute. I was kind of surprised when that happened, to be honest with you. I was just like, I woke up and I looked at IG, and that was one of the first things that popped up. I was like, what the fuck? I was kind of surprised, but we're going to talk about it in a minute. So.
Military or the Israeli military get to what's left of their third string and their fourth string and their fifth string. Do you know where they are? Can you kill them?
Yeah, I do, but we don't want to talk about that. But
okay,
who's this guy?
We certainly are watching. Yeah, I know that subject. I know a lot, but I don't think it's appropriate to talk about it right now. But we will hitting him like as an example. We're going to hit him very hard tonight, and we're going to hit him hard tomorrow. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. They have nothing. They have nothing going other than they have big mouths.
And I keep it up, Mr. President.
That I did because I got to know him.
The MOU buckle.
And it's a lot better. People say I was at least reasonable, but I got to know them. They're stone cold crazy people.
Can you or the American military or the Israeli military get to what's left of their third string and their fourth string? And
we have to wait and see. Wait and see if he did him more tonight because he's been saying like a lot of times and he backed up. I don't know if he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna back off. I have no idea. It's very unpredictable.
Negotiators brought back. Was that side saddle MOU? Was that built to fall apart?
It was built to test. It was a test. We didn't know. Look, memorandum of understanding when you're dealing with sleazebags don't mean much. And they don't mean much when you're dealing with honorable people, too, because it's a memorandum of understanding. It doesn't mean much. And I said, why are we even, it's a standard tactic in the U.S. that you go to a memorandum of understanding and then you go to the deal. I said, just go to the deal first. But you know what? It was sort of a test. And they weren't there. They didn't honor the test. We had this deal settled numerous times. I said, watch. I guarantee, watch. And they never followed it.
Yeah, I never really bought into this so-called ceasefire peace agreement. Because I knew I knew that Iran was gonna fuck it up. I knew Israel was gonna be attacking Lebanon. And I knew eventually Trump would lose his patience with Iran. They would start threatening kill their leadership. They would piss the Iranians off. I'm not that surprised, it's just we still have the right people in foreign policy to make decisions. Trump really wanted to end this war. He was saying Rubio and he was saying his generals over to go talk to not fucking Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, two real safe people, especially when Trump's got bits still in the Middle East with the Saudis and the Qataris. So,
I saw a very different on a different channel. I don't know. I saw
but they got a fourth site maybe at Pickaxe Mountain.
Yeah.
Before you enter into another deal, will you insist that IAEA inspectors get down into that deep tunnel and find out if they got a doomsday machine down there?
Absolutely. They don't have it because we have eyes, with the with Space Force and everything else. We have a lot of eyes on it. But Pickaxe is a possible target for a nice big fat shot right into the front door. And I think that you'll see that. I'll tell them right now. Look, the fact is they have no Air Force, they have no Navy, they have no nothing. All they do is talk and they have fake press. They do very well with the fake press. But,
yes, they do.
Because the fake news wants us to lose. It's not even, the New York Times actually said a week ago, can't imagine they say now, but think of it. They have no Navy, have no Air Force, have no anything. They have no military, they have nothing. And the Times said, and their inflation, by the way, just hit 301% from 5%. They said, they're in better shape now than they were 4 months ago before I started.
Yeah, but the fake media always brings up Pickaxe Mountain, and I don't think it's not on your list. I think it's on your list, and you're telling me it is.
We're watching it closely. We see no activity there. They're not doing well with their nuclear situation. Every time we hear about it, we blow it up. So they don't like talking about it. But we'll probably give Pickaxe a shot relatively soon.
Okay, Dad. Right. Okay. But the one thing I just never fully bought about this. With Midnight Hammer last year, when we bombed them last year during the 12-day war that Iran Israel were doing, him and the administration, as trying to address the nation when we did Midnight Hammer last year. He said that we got rid of all of their news. He said 100% of it was gone. So we believe all of it. There's like no more. There's like no more. Then, 2 days later after we attacked them, it was on a Monday of last year, Hexev and JD Vance were doing a press conference. This was 2 days after we attacked them, asking them, did we fully obliterate their English? I think it's super defensive and personal. That's when I started really getting skeptical. But then I heard reports that Iran moved their nuclear sites to a different bunker. So we basically just bombed empty facilities, man. They had to have known that, right? They had to have known that. There's no way that they did not know that. If they didn't, they're just that fucking stupid. But it would really surprise me. There's all people in this administration like these idiots, fucking incompetent. So I don't know.
I think they all are. We knocked out the first regime. We then knocked out the second regime. We then took out about 25% of this regime. And they're wired a little bit differently. We had a deal yesterday and it was going to be 100%. And then all of a sudden they got a phone call and they all ran out of the room. These people are crazy. We had a deal where we won everything. And they basically break the deals. They make deals and to them, deals are made to be broken. They are extremely unreliable people, and frankly, if they ever had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it within 1 day.
Well, let's see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Just want to rant tweet about that. I'm not interested. Of course, the German relentless strategy, dismantling fentanyl networks, saving lives. I agree we should stop fentanyl in the country. I think we all do that. Fentanyl should not be in the country. Thousands of people have died to fentanyl overdose. But hopefully they do this, and it would be great if Trump was able to stop fentanyl coming through. I hope he does. So Thursday, I will be streaming early. Trust as we speaking. At first, I thought it was going to be about Iran. Then I heard it's going to be called the fucking 2020 election. I guess they're saying that they came out with new evidence that the 2020 election was rigged. Comment in the chat if you believe the 2020 election was rigged or not. I don't think it was rigged. Shit. So I don't think it was rigged. There's a good reason why, Trump would have, would be using 2020 because how he handled COVID. People were mad that we were, shut down for a year. The messaging COVID was bad. The inconsistency, how we were kind of a little bit slow first mentioned on it. Let's go back. There's consistency how we, with the mention of COVID. I remember all this COVID to be done by Easter. If you say with somebody you're not getting COVID, just stay in your house for 2 weeks and the curve will be flattened. They made some weird comment about fucking, what was it? Bleach or whatever it was. You kind of allowed some of the states to kind of rogue of COVID. Some of these states where you're arresting people from just going out, going outside. There's people just spying on their neighbors who go into other people's houses. Unemployment rate was at 14%. My dad lost his job during COVID. Economy was bad because of the shutdowns. you know, he didn't handle the riots after George Floyd. He did that weird photo op at that church with a Bible. You know, and also just, you know, probably something to do with his first impeachment. But a lot of it was COVID. But if COVID didn't happen, Trump would have won in 2020 because the economy was good. There wasn't any war. Support was, you know, good. You know, prices were cheap. So COVID was the reason why he, lost. So I would be shocked if it came out that instead of the 2020 election was rigged. But who knows? We'll see what they say on first day. I don't know. It would be kind of interesting. So they say. Oh, yes. Donald Trump's bill sadly has not worked out like I thought it would. So it was originally for the bill, but sadly has not worked out. U.S. forces seriously naval blockade back down like the Iraq. This just felt something like fucking IndyCar shit. I don't give a fuck about. Sorry, sometimes they do these dumb facts. These honor Lindsey Graham. We are going to give. I ain't going to talk about that. Don't worry, we are going to talk about that. You know, I was very surprised when that happened. So basically, Lindsey Graham says he's going to be like interim replacement until they find like a replacement for him. So yeah, I was very surprised like when it happened. I was very surprised when I heard that Lindsey Graham died. I just woke up yesterday. I was scrolling on IG. And that's literally like one of the first things that popped up. Lindsey Graham died. I was like, no way, right? Then I asked Brock, this shoots. At first of all, I was like, we got like Mitch McConnell because there's been so many conspiracies about Mitch McConnell. Then they said Lindsey Graham died of like said mysterious illness. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Then I looked up and it said he had a heart attack. I was like, oh shit. Then I looked at it, I guess he had like a history of high blood pressure. You know, he does have a screening. It's very stressful. You know, you're still going to back you, but you see how bad it is. So. But yeah, I was very surprised, and obviously, I saw a lot of people that were like celebrating because he died. I'll say this: did I like Lindsey Graham? No. Always kind of thought he was kind of a little bit weird. You know, never had kids. He was never married, never had kids. He was, like too much of a neocon. He was a warmonger. I felt like he was one of the reasons why we went to war with Iran. He kind of. The first year and a half of so far like Trump's secretary was kind of influencing him on foreign policy. He was. I just remember after we captured Maduro, he was literally on the Air Force One with Trump. He was saying like Cuba's next. So he, I don't know. He was kind of too much of a neocon for me. But he had some legendary moments he did. Click back in 2018 when Brett Kavanaugh had the controversy with Brett Kavanaugh. I guess he stood for Brett Kavanaugh. When Lindsey Graham was run for president, against Trump, he originally didn't like Trump. He called Trump a racist. So, for office, and kind of funny how when Trump got in office, kind of buddy up with him. So it was just kind of funny. What the fuck? Except announced a joint task force with the authority to prosecute leaks and journalists. What? What the fuck? No way, right? This seems. I have to look at that. There's what? This is. What? Wow, it's fucking insane, dude.
Didn't run out of bounds. What am I supposed to say? What a racing great first start for
If I could sit up here and say, Skip,
Keith Pentagon GBP exit on Monday announced the creation of a joint task force with the Department of Justice to identify and prosecute officials who leaked sensitive information to the media. Pete Exit said that Pentagon's official general counsel may request to receive all information from records across the department regarding news media leak investigations to combat the dangers the leaks poses effectively immediately. I've delegated tasks authority to the War Department official on the Office of the General Counsel, empowering OGC to request receive all information, records, and support across the department concerned in immediately investigations. He said the field shared on X. Link information like risks lies in these new tools and process will really assist us in protecting our joint forces. The executive security of our nation cannot be bargaining chip for those who seek momentary headlines, access to confidential and secret information. Say your trust in those will be me with the the secretary also thanked active U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche for support, adding who is proud that our demands were together closely dealing after the court. Except his announcement comes just days after the jury's subpoenas for reporters at the New York Times. Wow. Attempting to force them to testify before a federal grand jury after the newspaper reported on security concerns of home give to President Trump like it's tomorrow that flew onto Turkey for a regional NATO summit. These subpoenas were widely criticized by the New York Times. Various news outlets and press freedom groups argued that the Trump officials attempted a 10-day report documentation, which each government documents.
They needed to get the guys off the field, remain some of their time out.
The piers of federal law enforcement.
Did they do that?
Just give me a second, change my song.
Well, I believe they did, but not soon enough. I'll give you that.
You do realize in the red zone, the defense that you said played pretty well. Now, last night,
The appearance of the federal law enforcement agents on the doorsteps of new reporters should shock the contents of any American who believes in the Constitution and the press freedom and protests. And the attorney for the newspaper, David McCraw, said in a statement, our journalists reported the facts and the fans of the American public right to know how their governments operating their tax dollars are being used. McCraw added. Brazen action should be seen as nothing more than attempt to bring the public from when wars happen in their country, while intending journalists are doing their jobs. So take over the effect on their attempt at soft correcting on the leaks in the media. Last year, the Department of Investigation opened an investigation into accused of leaking classified information to the press for him to conduct polygraphs to identify leakers. XF has attempted to process research on reports come from the Pentagon. He had forced them to sign a pledge saying that they would not solicit unauthorized material if the information was unclassified. Most Pentagon reporters returned in their press badges rather than sat the departments restrict on newsgathering. The policies facing lawsuits in a judge last month granted plea preliminary injunction ruling that the department requirements that journalists be accommodated by an official um, chaperone at all times, telling the first response to case by the interest. Well, that's kind of fucking crazy, man. Dude, let me just say this. All right, if any media people were leaking confidential information, then yes, they should face consequences. But if they're just critical or something that the administration is doing, and you're gonna crack down on them like that, that's fucking insane, dude. Bro, that's legit violation of the First Amendment, dude. God, we're heading down a slippery slope, dude. We are heading down a slippery slope of authoritarian, kind of authoritarian style, crackdown. It's like they're legit fucking trying to prosecute 4 people from it just because of Trump flying on a different fucking Air Force One plane. Oh my god, dude. Chat, that's fucking insane. Oh god. Bro, this is fucking I don't even know anymore, dude. I just don't know anymore, dude. It's fucking insane. Oh god, I'm trying to go through the articles quickly, guys. This is all good. They get into the videos on Fox News and they watch the Red Khanna, interview with Piers Morgan. Which will be quick and sweet. President Trump accused of fake news media of one United States soldiers. It's war in Iran during Monday interview with conservative Hewitt, you probably look familiar. I asked him to defend the military campaign for another way to strike against Iran. Trump argued that Iran's military has been decimated publicly into survey favorable in coverage. All they do is talk, all they do is have fake press. They do very well with fake press. But because the fake news wants to what Trump said. The president singled out the New York Times. Well, claimed the newspaper had recently reported that Iran was a strong position that before the U.S. and Israeli military campaign begun. It's not even I read the New York Times. They said it was I can't imagine. They said it now, but think of it. They have no Navy, no Air Force, no anything. That's not true. They have no military. Not true. They have nothing. Trump said. If that's the case, why would they be tanking vessels down dump truck? He also cited that what he described as surging inflation of all continuous persons of the times. Inflation is skyrocketing. It was skyrocketing, before the war. So, and the Times said under inflation, by the way, they hit 301%. I'm gonna look that up. Just do a second check. What is I want to check that first, chat. Okay, there's no way 300%. There's no way, right? If that's the case, it's crazy. But Trump exaggerates and lies a lot. Is it 88? Oh my god. No, chat. I can show you proof. Chat. I just looked. It's at 88%, not 301. 301. That's where the fuck did you get 301 from? No, it's 88%. Bro, imagine. Oh my god, it's dude, we're the plane that inflation being at 4.2%. Imagine if inflation was at 88% here. Oh my god, the economy would legit collapse, dude. It would be so bad. Jeez, I don't want to thank The president warned that additional American attacks were imminent following renewed exchange of missile and drone strikes between the two countries. We're gonna hit them. We're going to hit them very hard sides. We're going to hit them hard tomorrow. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it, Trump said. Trump specifically flew a strike at Big South Mountain, a heavily flooded underground complex near Iran's damaged Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Pickaxe is a possible target for a nice big fat shot right near the front door, he said. Okay, that's very wise. The president said American surveillance capabilities were tracking location claim Iran had resumed nuclear development there. We're watching it closely. We see no activity there. They're not doing well with their nuclear. Every time we hear about it, you blow it up. So they don't like talking about it, but we'll probably give a pickaxe a shot releasing, Trump said. Pickaxe Mountain contains two deeply buried tunnel complexes that experts assets may be beyond the reach of powerful bunker busting bombs in the U.S. arsenal, according to Reuters. International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors had never granted access to the Big Side Mountain. Analysis of the satellite imagery from Lake showed vehicle activity near the site's western tunnel entrance and possible continued construction or fortification work. Trump also argued that Iran state could not be trusted with nuclear weapons, and frankly, if they had a nuclear weapon, they would say they won. Trump said Trump's remarks came as U.S. Central Command announced that it would resume its blockade of the vessel traveling to or from Iranian ports. To say the Iranian the military humanitarian ships would be allowed for but war efforts could be used against ships that failed to fly. That's very interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. I don't think the media wants us to lose. There might be some that do, but I think most people in the media just have a lot of questions like I do. Because we're trying to figure out what's the angle. Trump originally said they can't have nukes. Then he would say, we want to get rid of the RGC. It's just kind of like flip-flops, Then they say, well, maybe we're going to do a major attack, and next we're trying to make a deal. This is like, it's constant flip-flop, trying to see, we just say, there's no military left. But if that's the case, why would they be able to, attack fastest, go into shit, why do they, attack Qatar? Like Saudi Arabia and Jordan, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make sense. So, it doesn't make sense.
When Cam runs outside the pocket,
Trump back daylight savings on clears key house. Okay, I may look that maybe. It's not that important. James Carville blames Bernie Sanders for Trump being president. Oh god. James Carville. If you don't know who this guy is, he's an old fucking retard. He was like a political strategist for Bill Clinton back in the 90s. He's very old. Just look at him. He's just old as shit. He's basically just like an old ass fucking. He's basically an old redneck, right? That just sits and yells at people going to his yard. He's not very relevant, but if you watch Fox, they talk about this guy a lot. That's why I know who this guy is. He hates Trump. He does not like Trump at all. He's made it many times. So let's get into it. Primary Democratic strategist James Carville condemned the arrest and wave of Democrats socialists on Friday, warning politicians like Bernie Sanders helped pave the way on arrest politicians like President Trump. After having condemned for ideology for decades, Carville has been sounding the alarm once again as the way the Democrat socialists have won their primaries in the Democrat Party straw from him to propose a sham within the party to keep from gaining influence. The most passionate bigger thing of this century, I think, competition is the election of 2016. The 2016 election definitely did change the landscape for politics in the country. You know, Trump winning in 2016, basically shocking everybody. The media said, shot winning. People said Hillary was going to win a massive landslide. People didn't think Trump was going to be the nominee of the Republican Party. Once Trump won the election, it shocked everybody. I don't think the media's ever been safe after that. It basically shocked everybody. It shocked me that he won. Because he was like the first person without any political experience or not being in the military to win the presidency. So he was a business guy for years. He was a reality TV star. So back to the article. How did Trump win? I'll tell you how. Because goddamn Bernie Sanders is the reason that Donald Trump is president. You hear me? What's the name? I'm telling you the truth, Carville said. So he runs the whole time against Hillary. And he traded massive economic growth that drove out that we're dealing with foreign policy. Massive knowledge of knowing what the hell goes on in the world, but we got to blow the whole goddamn thing up again. He argued that Sanders prevented Hillary from electoral victory by telling working people all over Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, places like that somehow or another, it was a corporate America. The Democrats or the corporatist party, they're co-opted. There's no difference between South Democrats and South Republicans. Are you kidding me? Carville went on to argue that the far left might undermine Democrat candidates during elections and enable Republicans to win. Then we come to the massive criminality. Carville continued. We come to trillions of dollars in heavy debts. We have a jackass war to run. What is the Democrats' fault? It's the corporate Democrats. He said mocking and rhetoric far left anti-establishment Democrats. It's because all the Democrats listen to Al Gore or some shit like that. These people are fucking stupid. Quoted him. I don't know what to say about it. He added, so now we have decided that the insurgent Democrats and what is their solution? Is their solution to be Republicans, to run against Republicans? Yes, no, their solution is to be Democrats, like they're part of the problem. No, you're part of the problem because you're a fucking idiot. And you just believe that the total nonsense that there's around the left wing. I don't know, whatever spear, Blanco spear, atmosphere, fart spear, whatever spear they got, okay then. I can't go back and create anything these goddamn idiots say, Carville said. But what I can do is tell you, don't fall for the allure of false prophets and all these people go be a Republican, then come back and all respect you. Until you do that, like nothing but pretend for you. He argued that there has been a fundamental shift in many Democrats' mindset in recent years, and somehow another among Democrats, something became more important than winning an election. And that became, I want to feel spiritual people. I want to say things that sound like I'm part of the cool kids. You're taking the country into the ditch. We want into the ditch. That's what you're doing. Jesus Christ is going on. every evil moment or shitty moment that has enjoyed success has also had useful idiots. That is collaborators. That's right. That's what you're, you useful idiots. He said, collaborators. You were trying to convince people that it's a systematic problem caused by both parties. When in fact it's nice to be free by one party in the century. It wouldn't be for the Democrat left. We might not have even a Republican president. We sure wouldn't have had one in 2000, and we sure would have one in 2016. I'm a proud liberal. I'm not a leftist. He concluded, encouraging Democrats frustrated with the state of the modern America, including the left wing of the Democrat Party for the catastrophe that we're facing out because as much as any group is faithful, thank you. He ain't wrong. I don't like James Garfield. He's kind of an idiot, but he's not wrong, man. These fucking leftists are fucking cancers. They are these fucking people like Hassan and Kyle Kalinske. Fucking like Bernie Sanders. All these like fucking leftist cucks. They are definitely they really are cancer. Like their fucking ideology is just so fucking goddamn stupid. It's never gonna work. Socialism has never worked. It didn't work in Russia. Go look at Cuba. Go look at Venezuela. Go look at Germany. When the Berlin Wall fell, everybody went to West Germany, not East Germany. And you look at all the independent countries that can get started up. They can go back to Russia. They can go independent countries. Because no one likes, no one likes that. The state controls how much land you own, like how you can run your business, and it's done that, like the state controls how much private enterprise you get, how much like equity surplus you get, how much revenue you're able to earn. All that stuff is just fucking stupid. They don't believe in supply and demand. They don't believe in production or anything like that. They, basically want everything just run by them, basically. And I think it's so fucking stupid. So, yeah. Yeah, I think if it wasn't for any like extreme like lefty fun, I think Hillary or like Kamala could have won, but they just kept hammering that kept constantly hammering on the fucking Roosevelt House like bullshit. So we're gonna react to this like one more article, and we're gonna get into the videos. Oh shit, sorry.
But I am comforted by the knowledge that in the end.
Alright. In the Senate, there's a black veil company desk on toppers as a bowl of striking white roast. That word was Senator Lindsey Graham's used to set. Senate Majority Leader John Food pointed to that desk during an emotional tribute to the late senator on Monday. Graham was a comment, trusted advisor and friend to Food, and for tears, he said about remembering the lawmakers spent 30 years in D.C. making a mark on his state and country. It's difficult to believe that Lindsey Graham is no longer with us. Food said that we won't run into an enemy today or share each other out. At this, after the fellows, the halls of the Senate already feel empty now. I don't know how long that feeling. As Food spoke about Graham, the late lawmaker staff sat in the Senate chamber as tears filled in the room, and since Food became a leader of the Senate GOP, you would oftentimes see Graham enter his office just off the Senate floor. He was there to talk down Republican rebels who tried to sink President Trump, Big Beautiful Bill, and once earlier this year, the Stoltz of Foods off declared its resistance to George Trump by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the president deferred the government shutdown. Like he was here, and that's right. And fearing know that Lindsey was fearless in his commitment to the causes that he opposed, it didn't matter to him whether he would make a cash flake on the issue. Food said he was undone by policies if he believed he was right on principle. Senator Weir majored statesman couldn't continue. Words that would be written about Lindsey, but for me, also Mr. President, he was my friend. Shortly after Boone tribute to Graham, South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster officially tapped his sister Darlene Graham Nordum to fill his seat for the remainder of his term. It's a move that Boone Trump's incentives brought back.
Shannon Sharp.
I think that is what Lindsey would have wanted. And I plan to honor him in this way. Nordum said at the ceremony. Now to Lindsey, I miss you more than I could even put into words, but I gotta do this. I got it. Back in the Senate, Food remembers Graham as a staunch conservative. I'm comforted by the knowledge that in the end he was changing his address, and that one day, Mr. President, we will back to it again. So, that's kind of sad, to hear all that stuff. Yeah, like I said, I was very surprised when I heard that like Lindsey Graham died. I got up yesterday, I always get up and always look at my phone, I look through like IG and X and get up, and this one of the first things I saw went on IG and said Lindsey Graham died. I was like, what? First of all, I was going to say like Mitch McConnell, because there's a lot of things about Mitch McConnell's health. And I was kind of shocked, to hear that was like Lindsey Graham. Because like last week he was like in Ukraine. Like the day before he died, he was legit saying he's gonna bring some bill to try to saying like sanctions to like Russia to not help the Russia and Ukraine were to give it to Trump. Then they said he had like an illness, and I kind of like what was his illness, and then it said he had to go rest, had Russia in order. Like the big aorta like ruptured. Then I heard reports he had high blood pressure, and his dad died of a heart attack. So I guess he had heart issues in his family, bringing his family. Like it must be his grandparent. No, it's like I just kind of find he was giving kind of like weird vibes. He was never married, never had kids. I thought he was sort of a neocon. He's sort of like a warmonger. I didn't like that. I feel like he kind of influenced Trump and go to war with Iran. And it's like his current term right now, like when we, after we got in the bill, he was at Air Force One with Trump, so we're gonna go after Cuba next. It's kind of like I just didn't particularly like that. Kind of felt like he wanted to go to war with every country. I just remember when we attacked Ukraine, he actually wanted to go to war with Russia. I think once he said he wanted to go to war with North Korea. So there's so much like a neocon, but yes, there's like some videos of Daddy who stood up for like Brett Kavanaugh, well, the controversy that Brett Kavanaugh was going through. Then also, it's funny how at first he didn't like Trump. Like when first Trump ran in 2016, once he was actually run for president, he didn't get that far in the in the primaries, obviously. But he used to say that Trump's a racist, he was unfit for office, he was a threat to democracy. He was a bully. It's kind of funny how when Trump became president, they were playing golf together and became one of Trump's closest fucking allies. So, there was a lot of people celebrating staff. I didn't celebrate staff. Obviously, it's just kind of shitty. Honestly, I'm not a reason Lindsey Graham. I never celebrate someone's staff or anything. It's just, that's just the internet. In a nutshell. So, let's go look at the videos now. There's a lot of videos we'll look at. Sorry, we'll also look at some of the Trump was not well. I need to look at some articles. We are going to go look at see what Congress has to say about the war in Iran, and see what they say about Lindsey Graham. I know, Sean Hannity on a couple times this year, back in March. I don't agree with Sean Hannity. Lindsey Graham didn't love what he loved because he loved war. I don't agree with him on that.
With him playing like this,
do I think Lindsey Graham's a bad guy? No, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything. It's kind of funny how he only made he only had $7 million in office. It wasn't fun. I actually kind of thought he was going to do a lot more. I guess he wasn't doing insider trade, and that's a good thing. Should I watch this one or Trump tends to ramble? So let's go watch this.
Take a look at this brand new video from U.S. Central Command showing American forces launching a brand new massive wave of strikes in response to Iran's aggression. The strikes hit more than 300 regime targets just over the weekend, including missile and drone sites, naval assets, and ammunition depots. And Iran's rogue regime, or as I call it, radical Islamic, is threatening to keep striking ships in the Strait of Hormuz until, quote, the end of U.S. interference in the region. Yeah, that's why you call these guys terrorists. President Trump posted this about an hour ago. The Hormuz Strait is open, and it will remain open, with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named, because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving, hence the money supply. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. All of that from the President of the United States. And he also spoke with Fox and Friends this morning.
They're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They haven't got nothing from me. But if you look for 47 years, they've been tapping people along presidents. Every president got tapped along, didn't do anything, and they became more and more powerful.
Senior correspondent Mike Tobin reports from Tel Aviv. Mike.
And here's the lead is that the president posted that the blockade is back on. In fact, the president posted that the U.S. is now going to be known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait and charge 20% of their cargo ships as reimbursement for providing security. Now, Iran has made it clear that they're going to fight that.
We will in no circumstances allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz, and we will not allow it to do so. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will deal forcefully with any disruption to commercial vessels and oil tankers used by this invading and pirate U.S. military outside the route designated by Iran.
Now, the U.S. has carried out 4 rounds of strikes inside Iran since Tuesday. They include targets used by Iran to menace shipping in the Strait, missile and drone launchers as well. Iran responded by firing at neighboring countries and said Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, and Oman were not their targets. They were shooting at U.S. targets in those countries. Now, since Tuesday, Iran has now struck 4 civilian commerce ships. And these are ships that traveled outside of the route designated by the Islamic Republic. Mark Wallace with the think tank United Against a Nuclear Iran says Iran will fight to keep control of this strait.
That's all from some news and tactical lie.
Try to control that is their desperate effort to regain or try to assert regional hegemony, control in the region. And I think that as long as this regime is in power, they're going to try to exert whatever leverage they can. And the Strait of Hormuz is really their last gasp because the other tools are gone.
And CENTCOM just announced that for the first time in U.S. history, sea drones were used to attack an enemy. These one-way attack drones hit the port of Bandar Abbas. We're told that the targets are a ship repair facility and a submarine. Harris?
Just a point of fact, I believe the sea drone or something like it was used to make that rescue when our pilots went down. Is that something similar?
Correct. That is a company that is down around like the Texas, Louisiana area that makes those drones.
Amazing. Mike Tobin, thank you very much. And focus with me now, Matthew Wiz Buckley, founder of Top Gun Options, and he's a Top Gun grad, obviously, a huge fighter and a decorated F-18 fighter pilot. Great to see you today. Let me just ask you about this next phase of what really doesn't feel like a ceasefire anymore. I mean, we're at about 126, 27 days of war against Iran with some ceasefire moments. But how would you describe what's happening right now?
When this first started,
Good to see you, Harris. And we're definitely punching back a lot harder. There are a lot more target sets. And remember, Harris, these radical Islamic terrorists aren't using any sort of ceasefire downtime to reflect on their core life choices, or maybe we should get along and figure something out. They are using the downtime to rearm from Russia, from China, and to get Gucci targeting from those folks as well to be able to strike the Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain or Kuwait or Saudi Arabia. So we are hitting them harder, but as you and I have talked a couple times in the past, we got to finish this job. And real quick, Harris, like Mike was talking about, the radical Islamic regime is targeting civilians. The folks on these merchant vessels, mainly men, are civilians, and they're getting targeted, and some of them are getting killed. These are civilian folks, and they are from around the globe. So I feel bad for all these mariners as well. Radical Islamic terrorists are targeting civilians during this.
Look, I want to hit something that you just said, because we don't hear about those deaths. You know, it sounds like they're just these inanimate objects, these ships, but with civilians on them, when Iran hits, that's deadly.
Harris, you nailed it. Could you imagine having your son on one of these ships and seeing this go on? These are civilians that the Iranians are targeting. One thing I want to cover real quick, Harris, and I think former Governor Bush put this out. We need to keep an eye on our flank down here. I live down here in God's waiting room, Boca Raton, but reportedly there are hundreds of drones down in Cuba. Now, I was based at Naval Air Station Key West. We have Homestead Air Reserve Base. We have CENTCOM down in MacDill. Well, we're punching overseas, Harris. I want to keep an eye on our southern flank because the Cubans aren't friends of ours either. And you know, China and Russia would love nothing more than to potentially enable them. So we do have hundreds of drones off the coast, 90 miles from Key West, that are a potential threat. So we got to keep two eyes peeled here.
That's critical. And of course, we've got our eye on their economy in Cuba. And you've got Secretary of State Marco Rubio then carrying out the orders of President Trump to make sure we keep our boot on their neck in terms of that economic situation. We had more from the president on Fox this morning. Let's watch.
If you got hit, even if you were not driving, you need to try this.
Because if
they have no chance. Look, we have them in the room. Most of their equipment is gone. Their anti-aircraft stuff is gone. We hit them very hard last night. Every time they send a drone, we hit them very hard. But we had a deal that nobody knows. We had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the state, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the state. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the state. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy here on our side.
Quick thought on that, and then I want to move to that.
Well, you probably did too. I read the article. The president likes putting some of the stuff out there and driving the fight. As a fighter pilot, you drive the fight. You don't react to somebody else. You actually drive the fight, and I think that's what the president's doing here. But as you alluded to, hitting him in the pocketbook, economic warfare is definitely part of this attack and parallel approach.
I mean, the U.S. blockade is working again. All right, I want to get to this. The U.S. Secret Service is responding to Fox about, because we put a request out, we want to know more about Iran's reported assassination plot of President Trump. And the Secret Service says our most important responsibility is safeguarding the president and all of our protectees. While we do not confirm or comment on intelligence matters, we consume information on a global level to effectively execute our protective operations. What do you take away from what's happening, the very latest on protecting this president?
Well, obviously, the Secret Service is very good at what they do. Not only domestic folks have tried to kill the president, which is a whole separate conversation, but obviously he is number one on the kill list, probably for a couple of countries, and they are doing a bang-up job, the Secret Service. But, Harris, the new Gucci Air Force One probably didn't have all the bells and whistles on board, maybe, and some folks in the media decided to blast that out there, and you saw what happened. He had to use the backup.
You know, Trump's
Some folks in the media, not always on everybody's side in terms of safety, unfortunately. It would appear they're welcome to change at any point. Wiz Buckley.
Standing by.
I've taken to calling you Wiz now, your call name. Hopefully we know each other.
Kind of interesting to see how this is going to go. There's no way the strait's open. Like, well, I've heard reports that the strait's closed. I'm kind of seeing how this, we're seeing this blockade is going to go. Because I know cruel's got like 10 cents, like maybe a barrel, like gas price where I live, like in Texas, is like $3.25. I don't know what's like in other states across the country. You could, put in the chat, tell me guys where you guys live and where gas prices are like. I know in Texas where I live, it's like $3.25. Very interesting. You know where Trump says he's gonna do like a 20% toll fee, any oil that comes, any ships that go through the strait. I wonder how that's gonna go. Like, why is he doing it? He's complaining that Iran was gonna like charge tolls, but he wants to charge tolls. So I want to hear more about that. I want him to explain why he's doing that, because I do not agree with him doing that. As I think he's wrong to do that. So we have to wait and see on that. Which ones can we watch for Lindsey? That's too long. I watched 45 minutes and it's other things to cover.
Not once have I seen him make yet in 4 real games in the NFL this year. So,
and they tumble back. So I was watching the 5 earlier.
I'm seeing something I've never seen from a rookie quarterback in the preseason. He kept saying,
Can we watch that one? I don't know.
But the poise with which he's handling himself was extraordinary to me, even in the preseason, especially in game number 3 at Seattle. Seattle played its once.
I just watched this one.
We begin with this. Take a look. If you don't like me working with President Trump to make the world a better place, I don't give a... Senator Lindsey Graham was a loyal friend. He was a good person, a true American patriot. had a backbone of steel, one of a kind. Lindsey Graham could stand up to the left-wing mob like no other. You might remember during the Kavanaugh witch hunt, this very powerful moment of clarity from Senator Graham. It saved Kavanaugh's nomination, and he single-handedly brought sanity back to the U.S. Senate. Take a look.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsey said, oh, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. Would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview. This is hell. This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
Wow, powerful. Now, during the hearing, Senator Graham was heckled by a group of left-wing agitators outside the Capitol, but in true Lindsey Graham form and fashion, he just donned a smile, adjusted his tie, and became a shining example of how to tune out a mob. At the very same time, Senator Graham played a very critical role debunking the Russia hoax. The senator stood by President Trump through thick, through thin, even through their friendship. They got off to a rocky start. That's all the media has been focused on because during the 2016 Republican primaries, the pair did battle it out. Trump even read out Graham's phone number during a press conference. I've been together with them when they actually joked about these moments. But instead of getting angry, nope, Senator Graham did exactly this. Take a look.
Just a scale to your level. That's really that's very nice. I really like
Alrighty then.
Or if all else fails, you can always give your number to the Donald. This is for all the veterans.
Shit. By the way, I think that number is still on his Facebook page. Now, Senator Graham, the guy I knew, the friend I had, he was hilarious, not afraid to ever mix it up, even if, well, that meant a curse word here or there, even on this show. Take a look. So they want to institutionalize aiding and abetting lawbreaking and take it a step further, and obstruction. And then they want to reward those people that broke laws with your hard-earned tax dollars and benefits, right? Health, education, etc.
Stop it. We had the Abraham Accords where people were recognizing Israel, and Biden comes along and tears it all up. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, $500 million verdict against the Trump family. This bullshit needs to come to end. I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue the hell out of these people. We're not going to stop till the New York Times and the Washington Post, who haven't done a damn thing to get to the bottom of any of this, who want to pull a surprise for spreading bull.
Wow. Give it back.
Give it back. We're not stopping.
I mean, you got to love that. Senator Graham loved debate. He loved his job. No one on Capitol Hill ever worked harder, traveled more than Lindsey Graham. But contrary to this narrative that has emerged among some, isolationist circles, Lindsey Graham, he believed in fighting evil, but he didn't love war. Actually, he wanted peace. He wanted to end the conflict.
I disagree on that, but no. He may want peace in the fucking world, but he definitely liked war, man. He wanted to go to war with every country in the Middle East, and with Russia and Cuba. So Sean, No, you're wrong on that, dude.
Conflict in Ukraine and all the conflicts in the Middle East. He wanted a new Abraham Accords, a Abraham Accords Plus. He also knew we do not live in a bubble. He simply recognized evil for what it is, and it does exist. And like President Trump, he knew it had to be eradicated before any path to peace could ever emerge. His dream, and he stated it often, never gets credit for it, is that every country in the Mideast would recognize Israel's right to exist and agree to the Abraham Accords or something similar, and that a path to peace would exist for a long period of time to come. So Senator Graham touted the president and his peace through strength, no forever war, America first strategy all over the world, in spite of what some people say. He believed in our country, our way of life. He served our country for more than 3 decades in the Air Force, Air National Guard, and Air Force Reserve. He loved the people of South Carolina. He loved his family. He loved his sister. Tomorrow she will be the new senator from the great state of South Carolina. Once referred to her brother, Lindsey, as a father, a brother, a mother, all wrapped into one, after Graham adopted her as a young man when she was only 13 years old, following the deaths of both of their parents. And now after an endorsement from President Trump and the governor of South Carolina, as I said, his sister, Darlene, will serve out the rest of Lindsey Graham's term starting tomorrow at about 2:30 Eastern in the U.S. Senate. Take a look at this.
I know Lindsey was loved and respected by many, and I greatly appreciate the memories and even the funny stories that have been shared. These shared experiences, along with our faith, have gotten us through these past 2 very difficult days. My brother was the most amazing person, outstanding leader, and just a genuinely good man. He was kind and considerate and loved by his family dearly. As I think everyone would agree, Lindsey worked harder than anyone. He worked nonstop to make our state, country, and world better.
Darlene showed amazing strength today, and I know that her brother Lindsey is looking down and would be very proud. On a personal note, Senator Graham was a great friend, and he will be missed on this program. He made a lasting impact on America and the world. We are forever, forever grateful.
Man. I did not know that some of the stuff that they was information on there. Honestly, I'm still like your father. You just like think I'm not saying Instagram's a bad person. I didn't know who he was personally. I just agree. I agree with his politics. I agree with his foreign policy. To be honest, he never really talked about a lot of domestic policy. He could have domestic policies that I agree with, but he was more known as on foreign policy, committees and all that stuff. Constantly wants go to war. That's where I disagree with him on. But I did not know that he was in the Air Force. I saw that yesterday. He was in the Air Force for 33 years. I was like, wow, that's cool. That's very cool. Those kids come ass and stood up for Brett Kavanaugh. I wasn't paying attention to politics back then. I remember all the Brett Kavanaugh stuff. I always thought that was just fucking ridiculous, and all that stuff was just so dumb because he hit on this chick in college, bro. He was probably my age, dude. I'm 20 years old. I hit on chicks all the fucking time, bro. I talk to chicks online, random chicks online. It's just. So it's kind of badass, dude. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's kind of, sucks that he got a heart attack. So it's definitely not a good way to go. He wasn't that old. He was like 71. So, what was his famous Lindsey Graham, or will she be like more conservative and not like a neocon, more like an isolation type of Lindsey. It's like weird to see that. So. Yeah, all that stuff is very, very interested. But guys, if you have disappearance by Instagram, don't sell their stuff. Because there's a lot of people on the internet celebrating this guy's stuff, but don't do that. You have to agree with him. I didn't agree with him on a lot of things. I'm not celebrating death. So, don't say that guy's alright. He's not as evil as people portray him as. Once I kind of work him out, he's not as bad as I thought. So I still think he's still kind of quirky guy. I still definitely don't agree with his foreign policy. I'm not for any wars. I'm more isolationist, but he's like a fucking evil psychopath or anything like that. Alright, guys. So, khanna was detained by Israel on Saturday. He was in Israel for a couple of days, and he got stopped by the IDF. So we're gonna look at it. He claims that the foreign minister, the foreign minister of Israel is lying. The minister of Israel saying that wrote khanna chapter the first or Wednesday. So we're gonna look at it. He was also on Hassan stream. We may look at the one with Hassan. But he was on Piers Milton. We're not going to watch all of it. We're going to watch both Piers with khanna.
I guess people who can lie about a genocide feel licensed to lie even about the illegal detention and threatening of American citizens. If this happened anywhere else in the world, it would be a massive international incident.
The battle between Musk and khanna is because Roe said Elon Musk is a trillionaire and I want to take his money away from him and give it to other people.
Are you sad that Senator Lindsey Graham has died?
He's only 105.
No, I'm not sad. I'm not celebrating it either. He argued for wars, including this Iran war that outlives him. He never met a Middle East country he didn't want to invade. We've had amazing reviews for the book Donald Trump, who over the weekend posted on Truth Social the book was a joke. 90% of his content is fake news.
I remember back in 2019, I did a story that he really didn't like. They said to me, the president has a message he wanted me to pass on to you. And I said, oh, what's that? I said, he wants you to know that you're a piece of shit.
On Friday night, Senator Lindsey Graham was speaking to Ukraine's President Zelensky in Kyiv and talking up the tough new US sanctions on Russia. Following night, he died suddenly in Washington, D.C. If nothing else, it's a moment to reflect on the fragility of life and to pay respect to a giant of U.S. politics. But that's just not how it goes anymore. Social media and later the airways were quickly filled with outrageous, gleeful commentary about his untimely death, proving once again that there are no taboos left. The same thing is happening in the UK, where shocking news broke on Friday that legendary Conservative MP Anne Widdecombe had been murdered at the age of 78. In both cases, there are tasteless jokes, bitter celebrations, and wild conspiracy theories. In both cases, people have every right to feel and say whatever they like. And I have every right to feel and say that they are deplorable and castist. Many people didn't like the way that Senator Graham operated, and they didn't like his politics. He made himself one of the great DC survivors by cozying up to President Trump when it suited him, and he was also for decades one of the most ferocious hawks in politics, with claws sharpened for just about every war the US could possibly get involved in. Most recently, he was one of the loudest cheerleaders for the disastrous Iran war, which is now raging all over again, as we will discuss. There's a time and a place to debate his ideas and his legacy, and there's a respectful way of doing so. Celebrating his death is not that. And I said exactly the same thing when President Trump jumped on the graves of Robert Mueller and Rob Reiner. When tragedy strikes, remember the words you probably you were taught when you were 4 years old. If you have nothing nice to say, just shut up.
Yeah, don't say
Many
it.
Hassan and Hogan Gidley are standing by, but we begin with a man who's made a lot of headlines this weekend, Democratic Congressman from California, Khanna. Congressman Khanna, welcome to Uncensored again. You hit the news because you were detained, you said, in the West Bank in Israel for 90 minutes by armed Israeli settlers during a visit there last week. You posted on X, Israeli settlers brandishing American-made M4s detained me and other Americans on my trip to Palestine. When the IDF arrived, they sided with the settlers and continued our detention they made a huge mistake. Now, you were visiting a small Palestinian village that was abandoned after escalating attacks from settlers and then demolished. You were eventually allowed to continue your journey, but this has created a huge firestorm, obviously. A spokesman for the Israeli military said it received a report of Israeli civilians unlawfully blocking the vehicles of foreign nationals and members of news media near the village. Troops were dispatched to reopen the road. The spokesman said the military disputed its soldiers had participated in blocking the exit and said the identity of the armed civilian was being reviewed. And when Benjamin Netanyahu was asked about this, he said this.
We're a country of laws, and people who break the law, we take them to court. In the West Bank, in Judea and Samaria, we've had thousands of attempted attacks and warnings against terrorist activities against innocent Israelis, families, mothers with their children driving along the road. They're stopped by terrorists and they kill them. And this has happened again and again and again. There is a vigilante effort, not by the settler community. They're 99.9% law-abiding citizens. I don't want vigilantes of any kind. And we are working to put them under the law. But I think if we put things in perspective, we should see that we have thousands of attacks and some few obvious breaking of the law, then we apply the full measure of the law against them.
Now, what's interesting about this is that Haaretz, which is one of the big newspapers over there, wrote an editorial on the incident in which it was entitled, Ro Khanna got the VIP version of what West Bank Palestinians face every day. And certainly there have been myriad reports of appalling behavior by Israeli settlers against Palestinians, very aggressive expansion of settlements, and repeated evidence in these reports of the IDF siding with the settlers, even when they appear to be committing crimes. So, Haaretz is not wrong here by categorizing this as being you, as an American over there, obviously encountering what Palestinians get all the time. So a long-winded intro, my apologies for that. But Ro Khanna, your response in particular to what Netanyahu said there?
Well, I appreciate your laying out all the facts. I am just stunned that Americans are detained by vigilantes. A foreign government cooperates with those vigilantes, and the American factual account is being disputed. I don't understand it. I mean, there was a New York Times photographer there. It's not just my testimony. It is the testimony of Israelis who were with me. It is the testimony of security forces. It was written up in detail in Reuters and the New York Times. And the prime minister is denying what happened. His ambassador is denying what happened. I guess people who can lie about a genocide feel licensed to lie even about the illegal detention and threatening of American citizens. But what is outrageous is if this happened anywhere else in the world, it would be a massive international incident, and it would require the government to immediately arrest the people who did this and to investigate the soldiers who did this.
A lot of your critics, as you know, because they've come racing out to criticize you, the Israeli ambassador to the US, Dr. Michael Leiter, said you mischaracterized it. He accused you of visiting the West Bank as a political stunt to distract from your past support of Graham Plattner, the former main US Senate candidate accused of sexual assault, and to promote your own presidential run for the White House in 2028. What do you say to that?
Well, he didn't describe any of my 3 previous visits to Israel as political stunts. What bothers them is that I said I wanted to have a Palestinian-led tour to the West Bank. And I informed the Israeli government that I was going. Obviously, I got through the airport. They helped me get back home. But what bothers me is that I said I was going to visit Palestine from a Palestinian perspective. And it's not just about me. They don't want other American politicians to do that. Just today, there was body camera footage released about this whole incident that shows that the IDF were siding with the settlers. And so the ambassador's on national television just lying. Now, their hope is that America just moves on and they can obfuscate the facts, but they're really risking the anger of a lot of people in America because this is how they treated American passport holders.
And what is extraordinary is it comes against a backdrop of Israel getting more in the United States with negative view of Israel, which is significant year on year. I've repeatedly called out members of the Israeli government, like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir in particular, whose rhetoric and actions, and in particular actually involving the aggressive expansion of settlements on West Bank and the IDF complicity in that, these guys, they don't seem to care about how unpopular they make Israel if they can have license to achieve their bigger plan, which appears to be expelling all the Palestinians out of Gaza, out of the West Bank, and getting rid of maybe up to 1 million people out of southern Lebanon as well now. That they have a grand plan here, and they don't really care about global opprobrium for it.
You're absolutely right. It's just the utter arrogance of power. Here's what would happen in a normal situation. Let's say this happened to me in Saudi Arabia or China, not necessarily always aligned with the United States. You would have the head of state or some cabinet member come out and say, we absolutely condemn what happened to Congressman Khanna and the other Americans. We will make sure that we take prosecutorial action against the vigilantes who did this, and we will have an internal investigation. This is not how we do business, and we're sorry that this happened to Americans. And if they did that, it would be a one-day story. But the fact that they are calling into question my credibility, calling into credibility the New York Times photographer, the New York Times journalist, the Israeli citizens who were testifying to this, denying that there was anything wrong, it just shows how arrogant they are to deny things that people are seeing with their own eyes on video.
What do you make as a high-profile American politician of some of the more vicious commentary about the death of Lindsey Graham, who, I had a lot of issues with some of his stances, not least on the war in Iran, for example, and other wars. He was big on war. But I interviewed him a number of times. I once interviewed him with John McCain and Joe Lieberman, the three amigos, all together, actually. I went down to the Senate and did them there for CNN. It was an amazing experience. And he also did a lot of bipartisan work, crossing the aisle and making things happen with Democrats. So there was a lot of good in him, as well as things I didn't agree with. But this place we've got to as a society, and we're seeing the same here in the UK after the death of Anne Widdecombe, a famous Conservative member of Parliament here. The glee that some people seem to want to express in the immediate aftermath of a human being's death. And we've seen it, as I said in the intro, from Donald Trump, and there's people like Rob Reiner and Robert Mueller and people like this. I don't like that either. What do you feel about this? What should we do about this as a society?
Well, I actually agreed with your monologue, your introduction, that if you don't have something nice to say about someone who has passed, you can keep your mouth shut at that time. I mean, look, Lindsey Graham and I had very different views on foreign policy, but he's someone who wore the nation's uniform, served in the Air Force. He questioned his own party on immigration, saying that there should be a path to citizenship. He would engage in debate. And it's not just being uncivil. It shows that in our country we're no longer to see the humanity in any way of people who have any different view, that we are so wedded that we have a monopoly on the truth. The essence of liberalism is to have a humility that you may not have the whole truth, that in a country of 330 million, maybe you should have some sense of listening to other people and having debate. And so there's something really wrong with our political culture that we can't have a decency when someone passes away who we strongly disagree with.
You had a run-in also with Elon Musk. He threatened to sue you after you accused him of possibly sentencing 4.5 million children to death with the cuts to the US Agency for International Development. He said in the podcast last month, they're celebrating that he created 4,500 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children in the world who he possibly sentenced to death by dismantling USAID. He responded by calling you a liar and a robber, while also accusing you of insider stock trading. Time to see this liar, Musk wrote. You responded to that by pointing to a 2025 study that determined that without access to USAID resources and funding, 14 million people in lower middle income countries would die by 2030, including more than 4.5 million children under the age of 5. You also said, you know, Elon, I thought you were a free speech guy. Why not debate me on these issues instead of threatening your firm? Has he actually gone through with suing you?
He hasn't. I was a bit surprised you become a trillionaire, the richest person in the world, and you're obsessing about a statement I made. And it obviously got under his skin because the cuts that he did to Doge had real-world consequences. And I cited 2 academic studies, the Lancet study and the Gawande study, saying that when he cut food and medicine from some of the poorest people, that potentially could have led to death. And it's surprising to me that he threatened a lawsuit because, he claims he's all for free speech. But I'm happy to debate him or the ideas on their merit, and I wish he would do that.
Finally, there's, as we've been talking, a post from Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform saying the Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, in the matter of fairness, we will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo ships for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process of formation will begin immediately. There's a very competing narrative here because the Iranians appear to be exercising control over the strait and appear to have shut it down again. Donald Trump is adamant that it is open and will remain open, but just in the way that the Iranians are charging a toll and want to have a toll process for ships going through there safely with their backing. Trump is now saying he wants 20% of all value of all cargo ships to provide security for ships going through. Does any of this make sense to you?
Well, the greatest tragedy with Donald Trump is he didn't listen to Winston Churchill's basic advice that to be a statesperson, you have to read history. And had Donald Trump read any history about what happened with Mossadegh and the overthrow of Mossadegh in 1953, because Mossadegh wanted to nationalize Iranian oil, and how the cardinal sin of the overthrow of Mossadegh has destabilized the region, he would never make a statement that the United States somehow wants to take over the Strait of Hormuz and engage in a kind of gunboat diplomacy. He would instead be working with the international community to make sure that we had the denuclearization of Iran, some kind of agreement, and not provoking them by threatening to conquer the Strait of Hormuz, to take over the Strait of Hormuz. It is an illiteracy of world history and American history that, in my view, is actually the greatest weakness.
Finally, on Sunday, you said you regretted endorsing the former Maine Senate candidate, Graham Plattner, who's now dropped out of the Senate race after an ex-girlfriend came forward and alleged he sexually assaulted her. He's denied those allegations but has dropped out. You said you got the call wrong. I endorsed a lot of people, but when I make a mistake, I take accountability. You were criticized for endorsing him even after a photograph emerged of Plattner with a tattoo on his chest that resembled a Nazi symbol, and there was already backlash over online remarks about survivors of sexual assault and so on after other girlfriends had claimed he was aggressive towards them. I guess my question to you would be, when it comes to these kind of things, the feeling that people get is that politicians get very tribal. That if the situation had been reversed and this was a Republican candidate, you'd have been straight out the tracks, along with a lot of Democrats, saying this is disgusting, he's got to stand down and so on, much quicker than you distanced yourself from Plattner because he was on the side. What do you say to people that feel that?
Sure, first of all, I think that's a fair criticism, and I appreciate you giving this the appropriate attention. In some other interviews, it becomes half the questions as opposed to one question of many things in the world. But look, do politicians give the benefit of the doubt to their own side? Yes. Do I need to be more sensitive to the biases we bring? Yes. Should we think about how we treat the imperfections of our opponents and people on the other side with far less forgiveness than we do our own side? Yes. And that's what I said when I said I made a mistake, that I should have seen the signs earlier, and I probably should reflect more about this bias that we have in politics and why I owned up to the mistake of getting this call wrong.
You know what? That might be one of the most honest things a politician has said to me the entire time I've done this show. So I appreciate that. Ro Khanna, thank you very much.
It's very good. It's actually pretty good. Like, I don't hate Ro Khanna. There's like, do I always agree with Ro Khanna? No, because I'm not progressive. I'm a conservative libertarian. You know, like Ro Khanna's like a progressive. I don't agree with him on his economic policies because I'm a fiscal conservative. I believe in like small government, low spending. I believe we should get rid of like income tax, go to like a flat tax. I believe in like free markets. He's like progressive on the economy. He's for like wealth tax and all that stuff. I don't agree with that. Like I'm like for close like borders. I don't know if he's for open borders. I'm for like close secure borders. You get all the criminals out. You might be a little bit lighter on that stance. You know, I'm pro Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment. I don't know how he stands on the Second Amendment. I agree with. I like like when like Ro Khanna like tries him and like Massey release like the Epstein files and they're trying to expose the people in the Epstein list. And they win the judge and within that like like that. I agree with him like we shouldn't get involved in foreign wars. So yeah. So yeah, I respect him like on that. But with the whole Israel thing, I don't know, man. I wasn't there. Like, he probably should have gave like the Israeli government like a heads up before he went to Israel. Then this probably would have happened. But I don't think the IDF will fucking head forwards at it and like taunting. That's like Taiwan. I don't agree with that. Well, that's like the risk, like when you go to like a foreign country, man. Especially when a foreign country at war too. It's kind of taking a risk going to like a foreign country that you can be like very critical of. Like now, like Vietnam is kind of like, kind of gambling yourself going to Asia when you've been like, very critical of them. So yeah. I'm glad nothing bad happened to like Ro Khanna. That would have been really bad if something like happened to it if he got like shot or anything. So because there's like that could have happened. He could have gotten shot. He could have like attacked. He could have got seriously hurt. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So glad none of that happened. So just let me do something real quick, and then we're gonna react to some other things. Now, sorry, I wanted to like react to that. Tomorrow, I'll probably go look at the one because I saw like I think it was like yesterday. It was like on Sunday. He was like on a Zon stream. So I will like look at that. I'm not gonna look at it right now because we just watched this. But like tomorrow, I'll go like look at that. So But yeah, Bob wanted to look at some the Iran stuff before because there's a lot of things happening about that. I wanted to with finally Lindsey Graham. So I actually kind of thought it was gonna be a lot longer, to be honest. He was actually kind of quick. I'm kind of glad that was very quick. So okay, the double feature. Just give me a second, okay? Nope.
I just want to remind you, last time I was on your show, you asked me about facing Nolan Ryan. So let's just hope you got your facts straight this time.
Won 114 games, and then you flew through the playoffs. You were 11-2. See, I know I got my homework here, and I got all these numbers in my head. Now,
pat yourself on the back.
There we go. Sorry. Fine. I was trying to look at it.
okay, that's pretty good today. I got to admit it. 470 in the All-Star game. That's pretty strong, to be honest with you.
That's not the way I'm looking at it. Gotta keep it side.
Oh, 481.
There we go.
You're right.
You screwed it up. There you go. It's not too soon. There you go. Look at this.
There you go.
Hey, man. You,
Okay, this ABS system, you would have had it. Would you have used it a lot, or did you always feel like, pretty good,
What two look good? Sustainable. I see you really good video. See if they can show. I said it. I don't think it's show. That's a feel. Go gaming field wise.
We've also seen guys that have been successful by an eighth of an inch. So I love it. I think the fans love it. There's been some changes in the game already.
Oh, I say yeah, it's good. Very good. Look at that. There's roughly there.
Ladies, have you reached your decision?
Yes, sir.
Fuck, sorry.
I have been a prolific supporter.
See you. Electronics. That's it.
The reality is that in the most important moment,
Yes, that should be a shit.
show up.
I can't put on the hook again. And
that manifested during this
Techno boy or these situation. I don't think I covered this. Let's just go watch this one.
Cascade Complete has the power of Dom to remove greasy residue, leaving nothing behind but shine.
I might have covered this.
The cloister at Sea Island is a home away from home. While
in life, there are just certain things that don't go together and should never be mixed under any circumstances. Orange juice and toothpaste, a notable example. RFK Jr. and roadkill. There are just some deadly combinations out there. Among the top tier is Charles White with a basketball in his hand, down by 3 with 5 seconds to go in the game. But what if I told you there's actually an even more dangerous combo than even that? Streamers and driving. I have made so many videos covering streamers that have been distracted by chat and getting into accidents or endangering other people's lives on the road, even if it doesn't directly lead to an accident. I've covered this for years because it's been a problem for years, where Twitch and Kick has had quite a few accidents because of streamers reading chat while driving. Twitch has had a handful as well. But the point is, no platforms are actually taking a strong stance against it, so it continues to happen. It's so easily avoidable because if the platform would just say, no pomegranates, no more streaming while driving with you as the driver, because clearly they can't be trusted to do that without reading chat. And people seem to forget, distracted driving is literally a crime. You get a ticket for it. Like, And yet you can broadcast yourself doing it on Twitch or Kick, and you get like a 24-hour suspension, if that, sometimes nothing. Now, what's prompting me to talk about this is that it just happened again. Well, I guess just isn't really accurate to say. It was like 2 weeks ago, which on internet time is ancient history. That's fucking prehistoric. We're talking like Aztec time there. But a little tardy to the party here. I just saw big streamer Extra Emily just had another instance of distracted driving. This time it almost led to a pretty serious accident. And Extra Emily has a history of distracted driving on stream.
But she's always just been a bad driver, too. She's just, like Aspen Spencer said, she's always been a shit driver. She's just like a shit driver.
It's fine. We are making it. Good thing they did their horns. I had autopilot on and I literally took it off.
Good thing they had their horn indeed, because she would have just, like a fucking missile, went right into that car, completely oblivious, because she was too busy interacting with and reading chat. You can see her directly reading chat right before this happened, and she just like cranks it, about to fucking torpedo into that other vehicle there. It's fucking terrifying how little you can do in a scenario like this if you're the other vehicle. You can be doing everything right, following the road rules to a T, paying close attention to everything around you, pinky up, great manners, and then just some other driver's too busy doing something else, in this case reading chat, and just fuck you up like that, or potentially kill you like that. It's just infuriating, because this is so easily preventable. Just don't be streaming and driving. Like, would you be texting and driving? Like, I imagine Extra Emily probably wouldn't, right? Not unapologetically texting on her phone while driving. But there are plenty of streamers that do. They're not shy about it, because there's no actual, like, punishment for it outside of, like, a finger wagging. Okay, have you learned your lesson after 12 hours? Like, it's not going to do anything. So there's a clip of Rakai from a year ago who is on his phone, like, scrolling and texting for, like, no lie, 10 plus seconds, not even looking at the road, almost gets into an accident.
Calm down.
Rakai's such a fucking idiot. He is. This guy's just shocked with baby soul shop at Walmart, dude.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh shit! What's up?
He completely forgot that he was operating a vehicle. He was so focused on his phone. Like the driving became like a side quest, like an inconvenience to his phone scrolling and typing. And I went back and double checked to see the length of his suspension. It was 30 days. I don't know if he served the full 30-day sentence. With Twitch, you never really know. They'll say, it's 30 days, put a big stink, like, this time we're gonna lat spread. We're gonna make an example out of you. And then they're unbanned like 24 hours later. But in his case, they did slap him with a 30-day suspension. Again, don't know if it was, a full month or anything that he was banned, but that's still not enough, clearly. That wasn't enough of a deterrent to stop other streamers from doing very similar things. In Extra Emily's case, she received a 24-hour suspension, and hers almost directly caused a very serious accident. And you can't make an argument that she wasn't as distracted as Rakai, because she definitely was. I'll play you a little extra here before she got to the climax of her distracted driving, where you can see her main focus is she is dialed in, lasered on her phone and interacting and talking and reading chat.
I didn't think that factor could help me reach my protein goal. Boy, was I wrong. Free high protein breakfast for a year? Yeah, that's real.
What's your eyes? Is that it? Not healthy too? I mean, I would do a body shower. You guys want to do makeup and stuff. Lucky bitches.
I don't need this. God, what an idiot.
My bad. That was my bad.
I know it's only like 10 additional seconds beforehand with the prologue here, but I can't find the full stream anywhere. This is the longest clip I can find. But you can still see, as she is pulling up here, she is just staring at the chat, talking to them about whatever they're yapping on. In this case, it was like moisturizing or, not having to do makeup, that kind of thing. And then nearly gets into the accident. The entire time leading up, driving is not her focus. Interacting and entertaining the chat is. And she has a response to all of this, and she just outright says that, yeah, she was distracted driving. Again, that is a crime. That is illegal. And clearly, there's not enough that Twitch has done to prevent this from happening. And there have been plenty of accidents as a result of this on stream, both on Twitch and on Kick, and still there is nothing being done about it. A 30-day suspension wasn't enough to be a deterrent from others from doing it. A 24-hour suspension, like in Extra Emily's case, certainly isn't enough to stop it from happening. I really do think Twitch should make it just a blanket permaban if you are streaming and driving. Distracted driving broadcast on these platforms is not something that should be permissible. It is going to lead to someone dying. It's just a matter of time as it continues to snowball.
I was suspended 2 days ago for distracted driving, and I clearly understand why I was suspended because it's very dangerous, and I want to learn from my mistake and do better in the future. So from now on, I'm going to try to minimize the amount of...
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
In life, there are just certain...
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to
mistake and do better in the future. So from now on, I'm going to try to minimize the amount of driving that I'm doing on stream. And if I do drive on stream, I'm probably going to... I'm definitely going to have the chat off.
So in her response here, she's talking about the suspension, saying, you know what she did was dangerous and the suspension was warranted. I don't think she recognizes how dangerous it was. A 24-hour suspension doesn't quite encompass the severity of what could have unfolded here and was very close to happening here had the other driver not blared on the horn long enough for Emily to hear it and jerk back. Like, it could have been a catastrophe, and she only received the lightest possible punishment Twitch has. 24-hour suspension is the teacher coming in and putting you in like a very slight timeout. That's the SpongeBob episode of don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Okay, time's up. It's just Weenie Hut Jr. shit. Like, that's the kind of suspension that gets issued when there's an accidental nipple flashed on stream. Not something that should be issued for endangering not only your life, but the life of other innocent people on the road because you can't stop looking at chat and being distracted while operating a vehicle. So she says, like, yeah, it was dangerous. She got suspended. And then even says that she's going to try and minimize the amount of driving she does on stream. Minimize, not stop. This is what I'm saying. This is not enough of a punishment to actually stop this from happening. So the change she's making is the Band-Aid fix of, okay, if I'm driving on stream, I'll just turn chat off. But still, that doesn't actually solve the issue, and you can't trust streamers to even stick to that because I imagine, 6 months down the line, that devil on their shoulder is going to speak to them and they'll look at chat and see what's going on because they're constantly performing. So even while driving, if they are streaming it, they're still performing. They're still entertaining. They are not focusing on the road. It's still dangerous. Like, it's not an actual solution. And this is what I'm saying, how the punishment isn't enough to actually deter this behavior from happening. So even if Extra Emily does minimize the driving she does on stream and turn off chat, who's to say others won't do that? And still, I don't even think it's the best possible solution. Just don't drive while streaming would be what I'd recommend.
Every time I cook, the first thing I do is pour myself a glass of nutty wine.
And I just want to do better and not make the same mistake again and again. So I do feel really bad for being distracted and not being safe on the roads, and I totally understand why people are like, what the heck, like what is happening, but I'm learning from it and I want to just do better and not do that again. So I won't be driving on stream for at least a few weeks. Who knows when I come back to Austin, but I'm definitely doing hitchhiking today and I just don't want to even risk it anymore. But even if I do drive, I'm gonna take steps to make sure I improve, which is closing off chat or putting maybe the camera somewhere else and just improving in the future.
Why does it need to be streamed? If you are driving somewhere, why do you have to stream it? Just turn off the stream and then resume it when you get to the destination. I'm going to tell you something. Driving content, like just watching streamers drive, fucking sucks. It's trash anyway. Like, you would be doing your audience a favor. Give them a respite, give them a break, let them go do something else, get some food, exercise, play a game, fucking anything else, and then resume the stream when you get to the actual content. Why does it need to be streamed? Why even take that chance? Again, I don't think turning off the chat or moving the camera really solves the issue. It's just a band-aid solution to continue to infinitely broadcast and farm. But it's not the safest solution. The real solution that I think is just don't stream while driving. Because even if you're not reading the chat, you are still performing to them, entertaining them, jingling the keys, and you're not paying enough attention to the road. So just don't stream while driving. And I think a lot of this falls on Twitch's shoulders because they don't punish it harshly. There is no incentive for a streamer to actually take the safety of themselves or the other drivers on the road seriously when they can instead be making money during a drive by broadcasting it. And Twitch doesn't care. They don't actually ban you for a meaningful duration of time. Even 30 days is clearly not enough for streamers to get the message don't do it. 1 day, 1000% isn't even close to enough. It needs to just be like a blanket policy that if you're going to stream and drive, you will be banned for it. It is something that I think they need to take seriously at this point because it's just getting worse. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's really it. So
Yep, he's right. I absolutely 1000% agree with what he said. Yeah, Twitch needs to ban shares from driving. If you can't do, there should be 3 offenses basically for sure while driving on Twitch. I was saying, first offense, if you do it, you give it for a week. Second offense, I'll say for a month. But if you do it again, then you should get banned permanently. It's I think it should be 3 strikes you're out basically.
She doesn't look aggressive or anything like that.
So. I just think it's just fucking ridiculous. How it's not the first time she's done it. She's done it multiple times. She's banned for a year or a couple days. This Twitch doesn't give a fuck. They play favorites. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to sound sexist here, but Twitch favoritizes women over guys. It's just a fact. You think if a guy did this, they would have got banned for probably a month for a week. I did that if I was driving while streaming. I probably got banned for a week. Probably like a month. They should fucking ask me to do that. XQC or anybody else? No, but they say just play favorites. And besides, it's very risky. You're not allowed to text and drive. You get a massive ticket for it. Besides, you're literally putting your life on the line while you drive, especially when you're streaming. You're literally distracted. You're not paying attention. You're if you get into a major accident, you can hurt yourself, you can kill yourself, and you can potentially kill somebody. So, no, it's very, very, very risky. I think they should ban it. Besides, I agree with Charlie. It's fucking boring. Why are you doing that straight away driving? It's so boring, bro. I see it all the time on Twitch. Just people just driving while they're streaming. Or they're just fucking eating. It's just it's so boring. You guys are bored about just fucking driving while streaming. You just want to be fucking boring, man. Why not just pause the stream while you're driving your fucking unpause? Wait to stream to get to your fucking destination. Why do you need to go
This comes with the territory.
Streamline driving there is just, I don't understand it. It's just, I really don't understand it. I've heard people say just saying it's a driver, like asking gold, like no searching and shit, it's just a shit driver. It's like one good once that either that's actually a shit driver. So, but no, we shouldn't be fucking streamlining drivers and saying stupid. Oh, sorry, I mean, the odds are no. No, I think it's dumb. I hope one day Twitch actually bans it, but we know that's never going to happen because Twitch is relying content box anyway, so they're never going to ban it because they're just Twitch is relying content box.
I've lost people. Some people get busy, they forget. Just a
second, watching our video.
The person of Beverly Morris and her husband Jeff last year, and they showed us how the construction of the 2.5
I didn't watch the McGregor fight.
eliminating their drinking water. A charge that she said
apparently I didn't see it
this is
100 yards off just
water
playing golf.
pressure in the kitchen.
That's what you can see with
Yeah,
This is what's in all the pipes.
We're just trying to be a
Let's
journalist.
watch this one.
Responsible for that.
Just trying to ask
I
questions.
watched
I can't help but
Dream.
feel like I owe everyone something. What about the people that owe me?
Just send a Zelle request in the Chase mobile app. I'm conflicted. Road to Glory, despite being in offline career mode, is now pay to win. Dynasty mode is now also pay to win. Microtransactions are everywhere, and it's been kept quiet. Recruiting logic is completely broken right now, and there are still so many issues that remain present from previous years. But, on the other hand, you could argue that this is the best college football game since NCAA Football 11. Gameplay takes serious steps forward from 26, giving you back the user control I missed so much from 25. Dynasty mode is far deeper with so much more to do each week in a way that genuinely improves the experience. And presentation took some major leaps, with visuals, weather, dynamic lighting, and player likenesses better than we've ever seen in a football game. The equipment guys should be pretty happy with the jump from 26 to 27 here, and no one can honestly call this game a roster update, which is rare for a new EA Sports title. The developers actually cooked here, so I don't think they deserve a review with the words "not good" in the title. But I won't call this game good either, if not for the horrific microtransactions that only seem to be getting worse. And if not for the bugs breaking recruiting in Dynasty mode, this would be a game I would recommend as a rare win from EA, like 25. And I'm pretty frustrated that I don't get to go with that narrative anymore. But as always, with EA, there's a catch. Nobody is talking about this either, for a good reason. EA has kept it under wraps, and none of the promotional videos on College Football 27 mentioned microtransactions in Road to Glory or Dynasty mode. Thanks to Not the Expert, we now know this is because EA did not allow their creators to say anything negative this year when making promotional content. And we should thank Not the Expert for being transparent about that. It sucks that EA puts their creators in this situation, because these guys just love sports. They just want to share these games with you. It's not their fault that EA surprised them with stricter guidelines this year. The way these deals work, they likely said yes before even getting the brief, expecting the same deal as they always get. It's pretty messed up that EA not only blindsided you guys with these microtransactions, but also their own creators. College Football 27 reminds me of NBA 2K23, a game that had potential for greatness thanks to awesome new additions like My Eras, but that potential was sabotaged by corporate greed. That's exactly what's going on here. For some players, they won't notice this gradual shift, and they'll likely say the game is fine, because who cares if there's a coaching archetype that's only available if you got a subscription? It's not like it was the best archetype. Who cares about Road to Glory if they don't even play it? Why should they care? I bring up that perspective because it's an easy line of thinking to go down, but when you give an inch, they take a foot. Every single time. If you let your dog have a bite of human food one day, he's not going to be thankful and stop begging for the rest of time. he's going to beg for more and act like he's entitled to your entire meal. EA is the dog's game. But this year, the dog is more fun to play with, as long as you can afford to keep him fed, that is. There's a lot of good here, and I want to give credit where it's due, but I also have to remain honest. Here's my review of College Football 27.
50 miles away from the
When you first start the game up, you get a video of a player or a coach saying EA Sports. It's in the game, just like we used to see back in the PS2 games. I love that. It's subtle, it's little, but I see it. Unfortunately, the game then instantly directs you to Ultimate Team, a mode with the most microtransactions. Hate that. The main menu does look great this year. It seems like they took the best of 25 and 26 and combined it with some older games like NCAA 14, and this menu just looks and feels more premium. Updating things like menus with this much detail and care goes a long way. I'm a fan. If you were hoping for brand new gameplay built from the ground up that incorporates Ian Cummings' orange circle underlying physics model, you will be disappointed. This is not Backbreaker and All Pro Football combined. This is an EA Sports game running on Frostbite, so adjust your expectations accordingly. But once you adjust those expectations, this is as good as gameplay has ever been on the Frostbite engine. Player freedom has returned. Like in 25 and unlike in 26, you can manually move your quarterback out of a drop-back animation again. You can split tiny gaps as a runner. The left stick actually matters again. I can roll out instantly on a screen. Breaking routes are no longer automatic and are actually covered much better by the CPU. I did find running the ball to be very easy, as blockers almost sucked into any defender nearby, making it too easy. Passing is the opposite, though. When you play online, everybody's running right now because they're scared to pass because no one really knows what works, and I kind of love that. The game feels balanced. There isn't some gimme play at the moment. I'm sure there will be one soon, but my online games have been hard-fought defensive struggles, which normally isn't the case. Then there's the addition of the custom pre-snap adjustments you can set hotkeys to, along with other quality-of-life changes that make playing online competitively a lot more fun, at least for me. When the other team does make a big play on me, it usually makes sense. Like, okay, it was single coverage and he won that. There will obviously be moments where gameplay gets sloppy, animations take over, and you feel annoyed. I mean, it's an EA Sports game. But compared to 25 and 26, this feels more balanced. This feels more fair. The CPU isn't as easy to beat, and the increase in difficulty will make Dynasty mode more engaging. It'll make every mode more engaging. And if all you play is online head-to-head, this will probably be one of your favorite football games. All of the downsides with microtransactions don't really affect you. I think this is a reasonable step up from 26, where I'm not feeling that critical about gameplay. It feels like College Football 25, a game I enjoyed, but a bit tighter, which is fine. The new additions of adding timing to catching and the quarterback sneak, that's where I'm not as sold. For the quarterback sneak, that was previously a gimme play, but it now requires you to time a meter. If you snap while it's in the red, you will not convert. But if you time it well, you have a better chance. It's not guaranteed that you convert, but I don't like taking away from player ratings. You could have the world's greatest offensive line, all 99 overalls, and not convert a sneak because you mistimed a button. That makes sense for a competitive online game, but not for a football game, although this happens to be both, so it's confusing. The timing-based catching is essentially the same as before, where you press and hold triangle or X or square for a certain catch, but you try to release it right as the ball lands to time it, and if you time it perfectly with this sitting on, you'll always make the catch. But it's hard. Again, a good concept for a competitive online game, not a great concept for a sim football game where ratings are supposed to matter. The tutorial I played for it was either glitched or I'm failing to get a single perfectly timed catch here, so I ended up just turning the setting off. Then, during an online game, during an absolutely crucial drive, my guy dropped a wide open touchdown on 4th and goal. It happens, we all remember Mark Andrews, but come on man, that makes me wish I had the timing-based catching turned on. Some players will love these new timing features, some will hate them, but at least the catching one is optional. The CPU AI seems vastly improved, which is huge for me. It's still early, but I'm struggling against the CPU. Where usually when I review a new Madden or college football game, I'm able to run the same same offense as the year before and dominate from the jump. Every single year I can do that. This year I cannot. The gameplay here is more challenging in a way that feels fair, and I like it. It's a strong point this year. And my complaints with 26 are mostly addressed. If you liked 25 but you didn't like 26, I think you'll like this one. If you hated 25 and you hated 26, you're going to hate this one too.
The probability of me understanding this is zero.
You should AI that with Copilot.
Explain it to me like I'm five.
Presentation is another area like gameplay where EA stepped it up, and I'm going to sound more positive than usual. The equipment and player likenesses have never been so legit before. You got pants above the knees, you got hanging mouthpieces, you have helmet tilts, you have real grit. This is a massive win for the equipment community, and everyone at EA who's been working on equipment this year deserves credit. It's not perfect for every player, but I was more impressed than I was expecting to be. You'll notice that your team's top stars look more authentic than ever before. The commentary is about the same in terms of its quality. It's fine. Holly Rowe does some voice work as a sideline reporter for both teams, but I wish she was visually rendered on the field, not just an MP3 file being played in the background. Immerse me in this, man. But this is progress, even if Madden 03 had the same thing.
Whatever they think is good is in the same.
On the field, graphics and lighting have never looked better. Helmets, jerseys, materials, fabrics, it all looks incredible. And player models look vastly improved. But then, you juxtapose it with the crowd, and it looks awful in comparison. Why does it look last gen? And the cheerleaders still look so ugly. The game also cuts to the Jumbotron a lot, but all the Jumbotron ever says is the name of the team. My fiance found this part pretty funny when she was sitting on the couch. She said if she was at a game and the Jumbotron just kept repeating Texas Longhorns, she'd be annoyed. When did it show replays or real graphics, you know? The improved weather and day-to-night transitions are great. I have no complaints there. And the soundtrack is once again a banger, with more marching band covers of modern and classic songs. Right above it goes really hard. And the sounds are way better. The crowd pops audibly when you make a big play live. It makes sense. It feels good. When you break into the open, when you make a guy miss, etc. Compared to Madden or previous college football games, if you just close your eyes and listen, this game sounds way more authentic than usual. So I would say that presentation, like gameplay, took a larger step than usual this year. And that makes me happy. This is where things get rough. Dynasty mode on the surface is way better this year. Instead of just recruiting players in between games, you now have blueprints where you manage a currency that buys you better staff, facility upgrades, and NIL offers. You have to balance how much of this currency goes to each of those buckets since you'll split it between them. And smaller schools have way less to work with, which makes rebuilding a smaller school a much tougher feat, which is great. Recruiting is expanded too because now you can offer NIL when you send a scholarship to a prospect, with a live indicator as to how much NIL sways them. You can send a scholarship with no NIL, 5 points worth, or 10 points worth. And again, you share this currency with your staff and facility upgrades too. So it really adds to the strategy here. Prospects on average look way better now too. These guys look more like actual football players, where the last 2 years had some jarring mismatches with prospects' hair and skin tone. The Heisman Trophy show is a really nice touch. It shows each player their stats and then they sit as Chris Fowler announces the Heisman winner. It's a nice touch, I like it. After the season, you now use your NIL pool to convince players to stay, which is a better, more realistic system than the persuade button press we had before. Nice stuff. There's even enhanced practice between games where you can manage reps and have full pads or limited pad practices for different position groups and players. I really like the strategy there. Team Builder, while I wish it was in the game, the website now is even better. You can tweak anything from the stadium crowd color pattern density percentage to the buildings in the distance. It's going to be a lot of fun for creative types to build their own fantasy school or recreate existing schools that aren't in the game. You can also create high schools with this tool and import them into Road to Glory. So you could, in theory, put in the time to recreate your real-life high school opponents and team if you wanted. This is a nice step up from last year with the new stadium building. So what's the problem? With Dynasty mode, this all sounds great. First, upgrading your coach takes way longer than before, because the game wants you to spend money to upgrade them. That's right. C4, another creator, actually found out that the PC version still has the fast and fastest Coach XP setting inside the game code. So EA intentionally slowed down coach progress just to sell you a way to speed it up. That's insane. So if you want to be a level 100 coach, either coach for 50 seasons and be incredible, or pay another $100 on top of whatever you bought the game for. That's fucked. Not only is that an issue, but blueprints for CPU coaches are broken right now. The CPU will recruit kickers and punters as their top recruits, ruining your entire league within a few seasons. This must be fixed, as it's a bug. But the microtransactions, I'm not sure EA is going to fix those. It also has the same missing features. Stats like targets aren't tracked for receivers. The trophy room is still just some PNG images of trophies rather than an interactive room like 2K5's The Crib. And there's no weekly wrap-up show like Madden has now. But the mode is certainly deeper, and if not for the microtransactions and logic issues, I wouldn't be complaining. Sadly this year, there's still no moments mode, there's no historic game mode, there's no historic teams, there's nothing like that. But there is Road to Glory, and it's even worse than Dynasty. At first it's fun. You can be more positions this year, including tight end, edge rusher, safety, and Mike. I was an edge rusher, and I actually found it really fun to just play games as an edge rusher and battle the tackles. In the only college football game, in 2026, you would imagine you could be any position in the career mode. But this is EA we're talking about here, guys. As I mentioned with presentation, you get way more equipment this year. There are more coach interactions and high school returns, but here's the thing. Your high school games don't matter. You can dominate all you want, but you don't actually play the game, you play moments. And if your last moment, like mine here, is that you have to win a close game, that means the game is scripted to be close, no matter how well you play the first 3 quarters. To me, that makes it feel like I'm wasting my time playing something that isn't dynamic. I might as well just skip high school. I played through it anyways, had some nice sacks, and then I got offers from Air Force and Georgia Southern, despite being a 5-star recruit. I went to Air Force only to find out I'm a 54 overall. A 54. Assuming my high school experience likely gave me enough points to be at least a 58 overall, I tried to upgrade and I was met with a screen telling me to spend real money to purchase upgrades for my player. So I paid full price for this game, just to be told I need to pay even more if I want my 5-star recruit to be above a 54 overall. What the hell is going on? EA copied the worst part of NBA 2K without any of the good stuff. Like, sure, my career is pay to win too, but it's also an online mode. Not that it's an excuse, but it is online and social. Road to Glory is a fully offline mode. Your player plays only 5 seasons max. So why is it pay to win? Shouldn't an offline mode let the user make their character a 99 overall? I mean, there's nothing to balance here. Even NBA 2K lets you do that in my NBA with a player lock camera. I can go take Bronny, make him a 99, and play with only him. That's not an option in Dynasty mode here. This makes EA worse than 2K with microtransactions. And that was the one area I thought EA had 2K beaten. But no, it was only a matter of time, I guess. If you respect my time that little, why would I play this game mode any further? I think I'm good, all right? I think I'm good. Let me be positive for a second, though, all right? I love coach mode. Sadly, there's no way to do coach mode and play now. You have to start a dynasty for it. But calling plays and watching your players execute it is surprisingly fun. Normally, when you control a player, you focus only on him, the user, right? But in coach mode, you can sit back and just observe your free safety, or call some plays that challenge your quarterback and see how he fares. It puts you in a new perspective, in a coaching perspective. And I think online dynasties where everyone is a coach could be awesome. It throws stick skills completely out the window. This is all about play calling, roster construction, and luck, and I love it. I want to thank the former NFL head coach guys at EA who pushed for this. Mascot Mashup is here as well, and I'm not sure why it wasn't in 25 or 26, but it is fun. It's cheesy. It's an over-the-top game of football with funny-looking mascots that are all 99s, but it has no commentary, which is kind of awkward when you notice it, and most of the mascots will not be unlocked unless you progress through the game, or, of course, unless you bought the MVP bundle. This is the most paywalled EA Sports game I've reviewed. And of course, I haven't even gotten to Ultimate Team, which is pointless as usual. With no MUT Draft Champions mode like we used to have in Madden that would let you quickly make a fantasy team and play online without having to pay, Why even touch this mode without it? Unfortunately, EA knows the college audience is mostly playing Road to Glory and Dynasty, and that's why these modes now have microtransactions too. I think I'm early here, and the backlash is yet to come, so maybe EA will reverse these microtransactions with time, because this might be shocking for a lot of you. This might be the first a lot of you have heard of this. But as of right now, it's a big fat fucking yikes from me.
Clorox Scentiva. Cleans like Clorox. Smells like cherry blossom.
That's how you become the College Football 27 is a game that pisses me off because it has potential. The gameplay is fun and more balanced than usual. The Dynasty mode is deeper than ever before. Coach mode is awesome. The visuals, the player likenesses, the equipment, it finally looks and feels authentic. But to go and take all the hard work and effort the devs put in here and essentially make it all for nothing by monetizing the frick out of this game is messed up and deserves all the criticism in the world. I'd imagine the EA Game Changers are upset right now too. They just promoted a game they had no idea would be this predatory until now. That's not a smart way for EA to maintain good relationships with creators, and if they lose the current roster of Game Changers, they might be in serious trouble. That's all I'll say there. I wish I could give this game a 7, and I probably would have, if not for the Dynasty bug and the over-the-top monetization of the game modes. So for now, I'm feeling a 5 out of 10 for College Football 27. I think it's important to give EA credit when they do good, but I also think we should be very clear when they do bad. The good news here is the core game is improving. The bad news is that corporate EA is doing everything in their power to render all of that moot. Hopefully this video helps you guys make a more informed purchase. My goal here is not to be negative, but to review sports games honestly. And in an industry where almost everyone else is partnered with EA, sometimes my opinions can feel jarring, but that's only because I keep it real with you guys, and I always will. Thanks for watching.
Give me a second. That's crazy. Just give me a minute. Just doing stuff real quick.
Just stick out in the middle of a motherfucking highway. They're like, all right, whatever. Your law.
We want this process to be respectful and transparent, and that is going to ultimately benefit you.
Brown doesn't buy that. While she knows it's too late to save her home, she says she doesn't want to see this happen.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. At first I thought like he was kind of like being positive about the game. I was like, okay, it's pretty give you like I don't know, like a 7 out of 10. Thanks all the things I saw. Okay, Coach positive. Like said the Dynasty mode was getting there. I was like, okay, all that stuff. Then like we said that maybe roads would even worse. Like, oh god. Then, I heard like some of the microtransactions were like more pay. I saw like EA had to like remove some like the microtransactions off the College Football 27. But now I do play it. I didn't play NCAA games as NCAA 14. It was like on a 10-year hiatus. And for a while it was like on PS5. It's still on PS5. I don't know if I could. I don't think it is. But I play like on PC, when you play like on PC, then maybe I'll like stream it.
This means I've made this comment about champs. So I said this about everything. I said, never forget when champs spent well over 1 hour on
Okay, actually, all the reviews on seem mostly negative. Join now for instance. I'm gonna do the free trial thing, maybe. Like the problem is $70. I really want to waste $70 on the game. No, not really. But you know, like I used to play, like, like NCAA like games like all the time when I was younger. I used to play like the, you know, like NCAA 12, NCAA 13, 14, etc. like that. You know, I used to love playing like Road to Glory. I would, you know, create my guy and try like go to like the 5-star school, to like a 5-star, you know, school and win a bunch of national championship games and import my guy into Madden. I used to love doing that. You know, I used to play as like quarterback, sometimes I would play as running back or just whatever. You know, like play like, like also like Alabama. I feel like Ohio State was like Texas A&M. You know, it used to be fun, but no, it's kind of bullshit. Like some of the modes are like pay to win, like the mascot mode. It's like pay to win. It's like, come on, man. Then it was kind of pointless playing like in high school. It doesn't matter what you play in high school. You can go. You're recruited by like lower ranks, lower powerhouse schools. That's like kind of like a waste of time. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll play NCAA again. I don't know. I don't think it's any videos I really want to watch. There's a video I kind of covered a lot of videos I wanted to watch. I might go look at some of the stuff on X. You know, go through clips. I'll make sure I'm on Alex Schultz. I have to watch that later. 8 days till training camp. 26 preseason. Wow, preseason like a month. 58 days in the season. Fucking pace. I can't win. Yes, just on that fucking drama account. I don't know who that is. That's when Gold is sick of hearing the song. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Aspen's right. I'm not gonna watch it. It's already seen it, but the song is a fucking narcissist, fucking liar. So basically, the song had a meltdown that clip right there went to Israel and wanted to collab with the fakers, the Yahoo, the old Benjamin Netanyahu. Like clap, like years from like looks max all that stuff. Like the song is anybody that like talks about Israel or talks like doesn't talk negative about Israel, bros. Israel's all you're Israel dick sucker. You're Israel first. That's some disingenuous there. So yeah, I've already seen it. I was watching that yesterday. Execute that scene for Piers. She found it. So introduces dogs just so freaking cute. I wish I could have that
Coach came out and said that they were practicing that weeks going into the fight.
And boosted on social media. So anytime you see anybody saying anything favorable to him, any of these Clipper channels, it's probably because they're getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, the reality is that I was a little bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Like that thing, I thought it was like, yeah, there's not a lot of context that could make this like okay, but and it ended up being like the context actually makes it in the okay realm. And I think that's just weird approach to it like that.
I don't care if it is or not. I don't want to get involved with this. This is something really stupid. The ironic thing is that I do basically almost never say the word.
Of like educating,
but now it's always funny to see the reaction of all their peers and how if somebody is still in the zone, if somebody's still creating a lot of engaging content, if somebody gets still a lot of views, how much they will give them some slack. Guys, I'm not addressing this today. Guys, oh yeah, my best friend said it. Guys, I'm not going to talk about it, and everybody tells you about it, right? But if somebody that's slower on the scale, we didn't really talk anymore. Oh, this guy, I am no longer his friend. I don't even know what his name is. I think I'm my house. This is race, and I said, it's weird. It's been insane though. It's been happening in the last years. I mean, like a lot of it too. Where somebody they like, somebody that has a lot of views, then they don't say shit. The difference between as insane and just insane. One's a known racist, one isn't. That's gonna be the craziest shit I've read all day. So you say that somebody says some flat out racist, like somebody in action just says it, racism flat out is okay, right? But if somebody doesn't say it, but you're gonna know to maybe be racist, then you worse, so bad, and then you go like that. Yeah, just bad. Just no. Chat. Saying it while not being a racist was a thing. Everyone would say. Okay, I think it's a slippery slope of dog shit. To pick and choose and think it's like it's just a defendant momentum.
Yeah, I don't really care all that drama stuff. But yeah, people make me feel thinking that. Like asking goals, like usually the AS is asking claims it's not true. Like miskissing is true. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I've never liked Miskid. Always kind of thought Miskid was a fucking pussy anyway. Just even for all that stuff coming out about him, I was just kind of fight his dickhead. I don't know. I can't stand this fucking drama slop that is on the internet now. I swear, every time I go on next, I see fucking drama, fucking slop about a sign, a sign, attacking Aspen Gold, or attacking X2C, or attacking like Destiny. That's just we're fucking like Ludwig saying anything try to be all PC. It's just, I like streamer drama, man. It's so fucking stupid. I just don't like these drama channels. They're so fucking retarded. Swear, that's all I got. That's why everyone else says it's just it's fucking slop shit. Oh yeah, that's been said he's worried about Sneeko. Yeah, Sneeko, what the fuck's happening to Sneeko, man? Sneeko's always been an idiot. Like, I'm watching the stream yesterday. Actual town Sneeko, that's how it goes on. Sneeko player because he got scared. Sneeko responds. Sneeko's just a fucking grifter, dude. He's an idiot. Sorry, calls like, dog, this doesn't log you in. Ask me go for show. Swear, he's actually a dude, he's cunt actually a fucking 15-year-old girl. Dude, he's such a pussy. Why am I gonna waste my time with this idiot? Chat, I saw this earlier. He asked me to act as he fucking cares. He sounds a fucking petty fucking high school chick, dude. I swear.
I don't debate over video games.
You're making a big, dude. He's making a big deal that because he likes to left Fickler. Because Fickler went to fucking Israel. Who cares? We're so the same as your fucking like Houston and Real went to Israel or I don't know, fucking Austin show or Little Math or Falcon Ray. Like that. No, of course it won't. Pokey Bay. No, he would not. She's a fucking bitch. Guys, I'm trying to show the adversity.
Guys, I promise, this is how you get this university. You just run through the wall like the ticket says.
Big Kai fan.
Nice, Jonathan. Don't worry. Okay, just watch. Just watch.
Bro, the streaming universe does be pretty crazy.
We gonna have to try this. I'll
say I made it. I got my distributors like Kai's.
The most important thing you did does not drive the party.
There are no more 2A.
I've been trying to be nice all day. It's something on my face. Says.
You've never been like has had catastrophic injury before. Maybe one day.
I'm gonna put this straight right now.
I mean, dude.
I'm not on what you want. I'm streaming every day, 24/7. Listen. What you want to be, the teacher's pet or something? Huh? Yes. No, this is from university. You gotta turn our savage up, bro.
There's no way.
I got my suit. I don't want to. I got weed.
He doesn't even. Competition. Wanted to get back to what made him.
The bottles?
You know.
What?
I'm bring
Why are you
books.
asking
We
for
know.
respect? Let me get this straight.
I can respect that.
There's this class.
No hotels. No.
Well, that's actually got us holding on like on like the Polar Express train.
Don't even think about sneaking in.
This is like the Polar Express train, dude. This is funny. Oh man, this is fucking hilarious.
Can't go home right now, bro.
Trades. I'm sure that you probably didn't know that they are very pro-trans. A lot of classes are actually very pro-trans, way more than the United States of America.
God, Kai's awesome. I'm glad Kai's back, man. Oh, this is awesome. I love Kai, bro. Wait, that's tomorrow. I might interact to this later. Oh shit. But dude, yeah, but Kai's awesome, man. You know, see like a lot of like Roosevelt Street University or Gun Street University. I didn't. But I guess that also it's just why, you know, Kai didn't stream for like, you know, for like 6 months. He was playing this, so. Yeah, good for
Yes, it's just it's
deranged. Yeah, but good for Kai, man.
Oh my god.
So
maybe
I get fined there one day. Eventually, when I make it, I might get fined there. As we go, I was watching Asmin stream yesterday. So he was still 100 buying. So Asmin Gold thinks 100 buying would resonate mainly more than average American rates. He got news in the presidential election. I tried to tell you guys not to run. Nobody wanted to listen. Everybody called me crazy. I was the first one. I ironically think that Hunter Biden would resonate with more Americans and Japanese radios. Where any of these old Democrat politicians, a former bartender, basically Patrick Bateman, the first crack ever. I don't like Hunter Biden. I think Hunter Biden's a fucking piece of shit. But we resonate to more fucking like chides and fucking G-gens. Of course it would. Because Hunter Biden's a fucking degenerate, dude. So I agree with that. But no, fucking Hunter Biden's a fucking bad guy. He's a piece of shit. Oh yeah, you sound about this about the dog. I don't care. Bro, I thought that was fake. The TMZ said Hunter Biden and Nick Fuentes sat down for a discussion with Channel 5's Andrew Call. The two almost threw fists at each other. Man, I hope there's clips of this. If there's clips of this, you know, this like conversation, I'm definitely gonna fucking watch it tomorrow. Jinxie cannot believe that. Oh, this is about Fortnite. Man, I've not played Fortnite so long, dude.
Anything you're saying about like the Apex stuff doesn't seem like that's not correct. Because he's right. Hassan's right about APAC. He is. He's just wrong about supporting terrorists. So, like, this is my outlook. I don't want to have Hezbollah, and I don't want to have APAC. Oh my God. What? No way. Like, listen, he doesn't have the wrong opinion on everything. Of course not. Nobody has the wrong opinion on everything.
According to Aston, wrote
For a lot of things he does, and some things he doesn't. This is it. It's just common sense.
Proof that
of course.
I know he's clean. At least he cleaned his room this year. He said he took a shower a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'm getting smeared.
Yeah, 2005, the 360 dip. this is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time.
I like to say
I
they
love
can't
this movie. Oh, I
tackle the
loved it.
message,
The
so they try to
prequels,
shape
in my
the message
opinion, were better.
That's what's happening.
The originals are good, but the prequels are so much
Who
better.
are you
Like,
gonna
there's a
debate
lot more
again?
action.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, the ones that Disney made were just awful.
They're the ones
Oh,
that shoot
it's
the
the
messenger.
360, man.
Oh, right.
Benton,
Just like, I mean,
50
can you just
Cent,
literally never say this again?
Mariah Carey.
I mean, it just sounds so bad. Oh, they just keep trying to
This
shoot the
Princess
messenger.
and
Who was the last person that got shot? The guy trying to debate me. Oh, right.
I
Okay.
may react to this after. I'll react to this clip. I'm gonna go to bed. Then I'll be back on tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
And so forget about Trump
that's what I
fucking
think
blowing
is
it in the
probably what's
second term.
happening.
He's
Yeah.
also going to potentially blow it for us in 2028.
Yes.
And I don't want this to happen, but we might literally have to suffer another Democrat presidency for the next 4 years
I have to actually
to have a true reset. That's how much damage Trump has done to the Republican brand. That's how much his pernicious influence has spoiled any opportunity for something fresh to come up. He's presenting a real problem. Because in 28, you're going to have to, if you want to shake things up, you're going to have to thread the needle between pissing off Trump and alienating all the people that still support him, but at the same time voicing those legitimate criticisms for how Trump has totally failed us and departed from the original mission to activate all the people that are not happy with Trump.
You would engage
It's an
with
impossible
reality.
situation.
But for some
In
reason,
28,
this is impossible
you
to
got to
do.
simultaneously
So I
kiss
saw
Trump's
this.
ass
Oh, God,
and say
he
you're
was
the
so
greatest
upset about
president
this.
ever.
True.
And yeah, it's the best economy. And,
This
you
is
know,
the
we
guy, by
defeated
the
the
way,
Iranians.
this is
That's
the
what it was
guy,
always
he's the
about.
CEO of the ADL.
Because you can't piss off these retarded boomers that only watch Fox News and
True.
worship Trump.
True.
Can't piss them off. Can't piss off all these idiots in the Facebook comment
Yeah, the
section.
back of
They'll
it
take
influenced
endless
your
abuse from
thoughts.
Trump. But also, you got to talk to the rest of America, you know, the other 75% that have an internal monologue,
Yep.
and say, yeah, we know it's a betrayal. We know it's a pretty big letdown to say no new wars, and you're escalating against Russia, escalating against Iran, escalating against Venezuela.
And he comes fucking
So he might literally, he not only blew it in 16, in 20, in 24,
That's a double standard.
the parting gift is that he's going to blow it for the next guy in 28. He'll have cost us 16 years, 4 terms.
And its mission
That's
is
very
to combat
interesting.
All I'm saying is that I think that there is an intentional
I've been very disappointed with Trump.
disenfranchisement of Christian
very
people
disappointed with
from
Trump.
the countries that they have claimed and the countries that they occupy. I
Back
think
in
that
the
there is
election,
a continuous
I thought Trump was going to
disenfranchisement
fix the
and
economy.
like basically
I thought he was going to bring down
ignorance of that.
inflation, make
Vatican
things cheaper,
Catholic, yeah, I
like
know
it
that
was in
people
his
try to say
first term.
Massachusetts wasn't religious.
His fans
Yeah, I
were,
mean, sure.
you know, the economy was
Vatican's
good under
Catholic.
Trump. A lot of people said, oh, he just wrote up Obama's coattails.
Today,
That could be true. You know, the economy did get better towards the last, like, couple years of Obama, and Trump did, you know, was able to benefit from that. Well, things like unemployment, you know, it kept going down, and you know, inflation was pretty low. You know, prices were like a lot cheaper. Like, you know, like I remember like gas was like, you know, like $1, like 85 back in 2019 when Trump's first term. So it's kind of disappointing because I felt they I just kind of wish that prices were cheaper too. Probably was going to lower prices. He was like, drill baby drill. Probably was like $1.90 gas again because I kind of miss that. You know, I feel like they do this, you know, all the like basically get rid of all the criminals out with the best deportation for the criminals who's like finish the border wall. You know, he's like trying to, you know, propose Obamacare and criminal healthcare plan. You know, they'll do wars. They'll promise like, and the Russian Ukraine war is going to figure out something
Like, there's no way. That'd be crazy.
I mean, you know, he promised,
for
like,
21,000 hours.
promised that he's going to, like, balance the budgets and,
That
like,
most Americans are
cut
not privy to,
spending,
so I'm sure
cut
that there
fraud
are
out,
things
and
that have
that's
said
done
heated
it.
moments
Besides him,
considering the contentious
like,
environment.
closing the border,
It's a medium
he has
that
not done
requires
anything else that I
interaction.
followed
If
for.
they serve in the military,
It's been very disappointing because he's the first person I ever voted for since I was 18 and 24, so
Again, very
very disappointed.
when I'm calling
So what you're trying to do well, it's
it's
not
not different
I
than me
vote
calling
for
a
him.
neo-Nazi inbred. Is it nice?
But
No. Is
it's
it
been
kind?
very
Absolutely
disappointing
not.
so
It's vulgar.
far.
For sure, I understand that, but it's not
Only who I
saying
would
like
vote
all
for.
Jews are inbred or anything like that.
I
That's not what I
really
meant.
get
And that's
I
not what I
really
mean
wish
at all.
we had like a true conservative in the Republican Party.
Same thing that James Fishback told me.
Because no one in the
When he
Republican Party
chooses
are
to
true
use a word like
conservatives.
dog or
Sadly.
inbred to
I
define
would
a
vote for like
specific racial
Thomas
group,
Massey or
Jews.
like Grandpa
He
or
says
DeSantis.
it's just colorful
Because
language.
DeSantis was
Like
actually my
Fishback
first
calling
choice.
cafeteria food
But then
grease.
obviously they
It's
dropped out and
just
Trump
I have
gave
a
it
big
on
problem
me.
with
And it's
James
alright, I
saying
guess I'll
that.
vote for Trump. And I did.
Reason why is that I
I hope
really think
DeSantis
the
runs
chicken
again. I
tenders that we
think the
got
reason why
whenever we were in
DeSantis didn't
school,
nominate,
they
he
were
did bad
really,
in
really
some
good.
debates.
Remember, you get the
Besides,
chicken
everyone
tenders and you
knew
get
that
the
Trump
mashed
was going to
potatoes at the same
nominate.
time,
It
and
was
you
like
could
already a
dip the
done
chicken
deal.
tenders in the mashed potatoes and eat them. Like that was
But
not boy slot
hopefully,
James.
you know,
That
since
shit was
Trump won't be, you know, can't run in 28, we feel like DeSantis was nominated.
This is the way I look at it, is that
DeSantis.
this is also a
Or
foreign
like Thomas
occupation
Massey, if
agent.
you will, or like
Jonathan
Grandpa,
Greenblatt
you
should
know.
not be trying to push
So
his
what's
Zionist
people
bullshit
vote for?
and his sensorial garbage inside
I
of
don't know any
America.
fucking
I want to say
Democrats.
goy slop. I say it all the time. I
Because
think it's
the
funny.
Democrat Party
And also,
is
it's a term
like
that's
far
just
left
entered the
socialist
collective
Marxist comic
consciousness.
fuck party.
Nobody's saying it
It's not
because
the
they
same
hate
type
Jews.
of
We're
party,
just saying it
you
because
know,
we
they're
think
like
it's funny.
basically
So
it's not the
that's
same
it.
Bill
And
Clinton.
I view
South
both of these
Party, even
groups
like the
as
Bob
foreign
say South
influences that are
Party,
trying
but
to subvert American people and
all right,
push Middle
guys,
Eastern interests
I'm
rather
done
than
yapping.
American
I just wanted to
interests.
see that
It's
clip.
very annoying.
But
And
I'm
Oprah's
gonna get
advice
off.
to Ukraine and what to do about
But
Russia:
I'll be
give
back going
peace a try.
tomorrow. Probably
All
stream
wars end
even
with
make like more
this is
mad
again
or
now
like
dub in Israel
or
with
like
Palestine and see how
FX.
this guy just hates Ukrainians.
I'll
I do
figure it
agree
out.
with this. I think that he has a massive double
Tomorrow
standard
I'll
for him
like
thinking that
quickly
Ukraine should
stream.
capitulate to Russia,
There'll
but
be more
Palestine shouldn't
Robo and stuff I'll
capitulate to
look
Israel.
at.
I don't really understand how there's really a difference there. But again, do they know? Yeah, and also
guys,
I think Ukrainians should be the ones that decide this.
I'll see you guys
This is
tomorrow.
another. It's about May,
Bye-bye.
of course.
Jesus, on the Savior's side, the one to save the world from communism.